Hello everyone and welcome back to the Triple Crown Wargaming Studio, where once again you join us for another instalment in our deep dive series for the Old World Grand Army lists. And today we are taking on a short faction, but not actually a short list. There's quite a lot to go through. A lot of rooms. When we look at Dwarfen Mountain Holds. And doing this with me, going on the journey under the mountain with me, is the legendary Oracle.
Legendary?
Yeah.
Legendary to who?
I don't know, people on the street, maybe.
Legendary on lunch hour, maybe.
Yeah, maybe people in your office at work.
I will take.
The heroic Duke.
Hello, I'll take it.
And that's theft. That's theft.
Loathsome Loremaster.
The Loathsome Loremaster. I would be loathsome.
Yeah.
We're doing dwarves.
Yeah.
So the Loathsome Loremaster. So bit like our videos, if you check them out, we'll start with a Grand Army composition, then we'll hit you up with some special rules and some any kind of specific or unique equipment for the army, because that does tend to make a bit of a difference on how the sections before that, the next sections when we go through the units works, so you understand what stuff is. And then we'll look at all the units, and we'll look at the runes in this case, which no magic but lots of runes.
A lot of runes.
So Grand Army composition, are you ready
Indeed.
to break it down for us?
Yes, so characters up to 50% standard. 0 to 1 King, Anvil of Doom or Rune Lord per 1,000 points. So,
Pretty standard.
Not bad, pretty standardised. Thanes, Runesmiths, Demon Slayers, Dragon Slayers and Dwarf Engineers in any and all combination.
I've got to be
no
honest,
restriction of any kind.
I am surprised that Kings were not 0 to 1 per army, like a Demon Prince.
Yeah, Doomblade King
example,
does
like a
seem
Duke.
strong.
Or a Duke, yeah. I am shocked by that,
Yeah.
that there could be 2 Kings in an army, because they're also...
I mean, that would be a grand.
they're also pretty spicy. You
But,
could put 2 Kings in at 2,000 points.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying
wouldn't
like
have much.
thematically is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, so core, at least 25 points of your armies must be spent
At least
on.
25 points, lovely.
At least, yeah, so
Like
standard.
4 dwarves.
Yep, that's what you get in, 25 points. But I'm not regaling that. So
You're not regaling it, you're not telling us about it.
Yep. Anything else? Big man? Big funny man, are you? So, Dwarf Warriors.
Big man, was that a short term?
Warriors.
Yeah.
You're damn right it was. Dwarf Warriors, Quarrelers or Thunderers. And Thunderers. Apologies, that one I do need to actually stress. 0 to 1 units of Rangers may be taken as core choice. And if your general is a king, you may take 0 to 1 unit of Longbeards as a core choice, which is really good.
I don't know why you wouldn't ever take the unit of Rangers in core.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
I also don't know why you probably don't have a king leading your army.
Well, we'll get into that.
You
when
don't
we
have
talk
to
about the
pack
other
them with loads
characters.
of points.
No, I know.
So...
Yeah. Special, up to 50%. Longbeards, Ironbreakers, Miners, Slayers and Gyrocopters. Any combination. 0 to 1 unit of Hammerers per King or Thane taken.
That's
which is
quite
nice.
loose.
Yeah.
Don't have to have a
restriction.
King, just a Thane, that's nice.
Thanes are excellent as well.
0 to 3 War Machines from the chosen list per 1,000 points. The list being bolt throwers, grudge throwers, or cannons. So any of those 3 can go in your special. 0 to 3 per 1,000 points. So you have 6 pieces of artillery in your special worth 1,000 points.
At 2,000 points.
Yep. Rare, up to 25% of your army's points values may be spent on Rangers, Iron Drakes, or Gyro Bombers. Any formation. 0 to 2 War Machines may be chosen from the following list per 1,000 points, and that is Organ Gun and Flame Cannon. So, and then Mercenaries, up to 20 points from your army spent on Mercenaries. I don't think
Back
Dwarves can
on
actually
points.
take
Back on
any
points.
Mercenaries.
20%.
Apologies. And allies, up to 25% of your army's points may be taken on a single allied contingent drawn from any Dwarfen Mountain Holds army infantry or competition list, or one of the following general army competition lists. Empire
Grand
of...
Army.
Yep.
Are you alright?
Evidently not, mate. Empire of Man.
They're best
just
mates.
as you want.
BFFs.
Kingdom of Bretonia is uneasy, and High Elf Realms is suspicious.
Blows my mind, they can ally.
They can actually ally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's not for me.
Um,
And then a single Thane in your army may be taken as a battle standard bearer for 25 points.
Job done.
Lovely.
Special rules?
Yeah, on to the special rules. Just 1 page, I think, of special rules.
Yeah, there's a few, but they're pretty manageable.
Yeah, so Death Blow, so this will be on all your Slayers and your Slayer characters. When a model with this special rule is reduced to 0 wounds by an enemy attack during the combat phase, the unit that made the attack suffers a Strength 3, AP-1 hit. If they were killed in the challenge, then that hits the dude in the challenge.
AP -1's nice.
Yeah.
It's my response to
Yeah. It also means potentially your guys that aren't in the fighting rank get to make these death blow attacks as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
So if someone goes in and just absolutely wails on your unit of Slayers and
It
kills like
also-
15 of them.
It does also trigger the Dwarf and Demon Slayer special rules alongside Death Blow. as well.
Yeah.
Does it?
I think so. I don't know.
Right.
I think we FAQ'd
But
it.
they-
I think
they
we
don't,
FAQ'd it to say it does.
We might have done.
I think we FAQ'd it to say it does.
We might have
That's
done.
the only reason
It's
I
not
mentioned
100% clear.
Although you used to get this at the strength of the person that died. So for your characters, it is a lower strength now.
Yeah.
So that is a kind of a small cutback. But I think the -1 AP all the time really helps.
Yeah,
So-
that is nice. Dwarf crafted. Models with this special rule do not suffer the usual -1 to hit modifier when making a stand and shoot charge reaction.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think this has got better now that you also don't suffer long range from stand and shoot.
Yeah, I also think it's
Really
better
like
because
that.
standard shoots count towards combat res.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, really
this
strong.
is really improved.
Gromrel armor. A model with this special rule may reroll any roll of a natural 1 when making an armor save roll. Really nice.
Excellent.
really good.
Doesn't change if I rune the armour up, which is
No.
really spicy.
Gromrel weapons. A hand weapon carried by a model with this special rule has an armor piercing characteristic of 1. This is a single ordinary hand weapon. If it's using 2 hand weapons or any other sort of weapon, or if their hand weapon is inscribed with any weapon runes, this special rule ceases to apply.
Yeah.
So very restrictive, but
Very good.
good for units with it. Better than I would
thing
say
is,
than
it's
characters.
there's a lot less units with it than I was hoping would have it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do iron breakers?
Ironbreakers
Yeah.
do, I believe.
Yeah, You said I think iron breakers, hammers, and longbeards have it. I think.
But if
the
you're
hammers will use the hammer.
Hammers will use
There's
the
no
hammer.
reason not to
Probably,
use the
yeah.
hammer,
So-
really, unless you want your shield save, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think longbeards might have it. Yeah.
Pretty sure longbeards have it. Anyway, resolute models with this special rule suffer a -1 to the result of any flee or pursue rolls they make to a minimum of 1.
So that's back. It's a
And there's no upside to it either.
No, it really hurts them.
Yeah.
It's really painful, particularly. We'll talk about it later, particularly with the dwarf composition in this set of rules. I'm sure some of you will be watching this with bated breath, knowing that at the minute dwarves are. Well, at the time of filming, this dwarves are very much bottom of the pile in terms of the way they're seen competitively.
Certainly, the statistics.
The statistics, would
Yeah.
suggest that they are
Yeah.
bottom of the tier
They're
army.
the
and
lowest win army in the game. as it
I
stands.
actually think that the army list is really good.
Mm.
And I think they've got some great options. The problem for them is that they're slow. Then they struggle to get charges,
Yeah.
and they're not very manoeuvrable. And a lot of the stuff that made them more manoeuvrable in the past, things like not having this -1 rule that was taken out in the last book, which really helped them, and the changes to Vanguard. They could Vanguard 12 before with some stuff, but now they can't because of the way Vanguard's changed. That's a big part of it, I think, as to why they're finding it so tough. But the journal might change some of that.
Artillery's
Maybe.
the general
And
reduction
artillery's
in
got a
artillery
lot
has
worse,
made a
yeah.
massive difference for 'em.
But they're still decent, and their rules are very balanced. A lot of units look competitive to me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Magic's a pain for them as well.
it's the core rules of the game that's hurt them rather than
rather than
them being
Yeah.
poorly
Yeah.
written. Yeah.
And their final special rule is Rune Law. A model with this special rule may be nominated to attempt a wizardly dispel as if it were a wizard. For the purposes of wizardly dispels, an Anvil of Doom counts as a level 3 wizard, a Rune Law counts as a level 2, and a Rune Smith counts as a level 1. I personally think these should all add 1. So I think an Anvil should count as level 4, a Rune Lord a level 3, and a Rune Smith a level 2. I think that helped
I
massively.
completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think because you have to beat the total,
Yeah.
this was huge. I was really hoping the first FAQ would change this
Yeah.
because I think it's
Well, the
too.
cheat
I
sheet
think it's
says
too harsh.
equal to,
Yeah.
or
I think it's too
greater.
harsh.
I think,
Yeah.
I went to a tournament or a GT a few weeks ago. I had High Elves, which are considered to be a sort of magical army, but I mean, there's nothing particularly special about their magical.
No one's really a
animals.
magical army anymore, to
I
be
had a
honest.
dispel scroll though,
Mm.
and I dispelled one spell a weekend that was cast by a wizard, like a level 4 wizard.
Yeah.
I dispelled everything else. I dispelled was bound spells, and I did 4 other dispels. So 5 spells, 1 a game I averaged. I had a dispel scroll and still only averaged 1 a game because it didn't roll very good.
Yeah.
Twice I got outclassed in the art on a dispel scroll.
Hilarious.
I rolled
The
up
that's
twice.
The problem is though with Magic is in general is that it's the way that it runs is I roll an 8, which isn't really above the averages. You have to roll a 13. You have to roll a 9 on the dice,
Yeah.
which is high.
It's
Like-
that having to beat.
The having to beat's huge.
It's
Yeah.
massive.
And
And them all being fixed 2d6. It's not like you could say, alright, I have to beat it, but I can save my dice, for instance,
Yep.
for that one spell that I
Yep.
know I need to stop. So yeah, you might roll 2 dice and get, a 9, but I've got 4 dice. So yeah, I might need a 10, but I've got 4 dice to get it.
Yeah.
And you can't do that anymore.
I think the big killer here is that because he counts as a level 2, the Rune Lord, he hasn't got the 24-inch range. That's the killer.
Yes.
And I actually think they'd have been better to set, if they were going to set it at 1, 2 and 3, they'd have been better to then say he dispels with +1 to the dice score and a range of 18,
Yeah, rather than
plus
saying
2 to the dice score
with it.
and a range of 24,
Yeah.
plus 3 to the dice score and a range of 30.
Yeah.
So you could have upped the range on the anvil as well, because
Yeah.
the anvil's immobile, it's not moving.
No.
So that's another problem. It's got some workarounds. We'll
Yeah.
discuss that more then. But
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I mean, it does help that, and obviously we'll get into it, every dwarf unit has Magic Res 1 at least.
And I think that's
so that
probably,
does help, and I think it's why they haven't gone the Anvil's level 4, the Rune Lord's level 3, the Runesmith's
And
level
that does
2.
-1 off their total, doesn't it?
Yes.
So
it does effectively do the same thing, but it
but-
does restrict the Rune Lord to only an 18-inch bubble of dispelling,
Yeah, it's
which
huge.
is huge.
Um,
That's it for the special rules.
cool. And when you
Excellent.
like double the points of the Smith,
Yeah.
you do think the Smith's probably where the
Where
joy's
it's at.
So really, we'll start by going through the infantry, which is effectively almost the entire army.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they're very infantry heavy, and this is something that's one of the reasons why we've talked about them struggling a bit. Perhaps is they're very infantry heavy and they're very low movement infantry,
Yes,
which is
they are
problematic.
very slow.
So some of this we will really be able to breeze through because there's not going to be tons to talk about, but we'll do our
No.
best for you.
So starting off with the Dwarf Lords, the King and the Thane. Really solid stats. Web skill 7 for the King, 6 for the Thane. Strength 4, toughness 5 for both of them. 3 wounds and 2 wounds for the King and the Thane respectively. Leadership 4 and 3. 4 and 3 attacks, and leadership 10 and leadership 9 for 125 or 60 points.
Once again, the Thane is very cheap versus
He
the
is
Lord,
very
but he
cheap,
has
yeah.
lost a point of leadership.
He's only leadership 9 now. They both come with full plate armour. They both have Grommel armour and Grommel weapons.
Yep.
They've both got Ancestral Grudge, so a model with this special rule has hatred enemy characters, meaning it hates all characters in the opposing army. If this character joins a unit of Longbeards or Hammerers, the unit also gains this special rule. Should this character leave the unit, then they lose this special rule.
So your kind of best strength or best damage output combat units are going to get that big buff.
Yes.
The problem that we've talked about with this is that it just means that people avoid those units because again you're not that manoeuvrable, and this is where we think that they're probably struggling. But we do think the Star, which you may have seen on a battle report recently, has a lot of potential because
You almost force your opponent to
want to
engage
get involved in it,
Yeah.
or to just
Except
eke it
it's
out
gonna be
to a
very
draw
small win
or a small win.
draw.
And obviously when you're making battle reports that's a bit boring, so you want to fight.
They have Dwarf Crafted because they can take crossbows and handguns, either of them, so that's nice. They also both have Hatred, Orcs and Goblins, Magic Res 1, Rallying Cry, Resolute and Stubborn. The King can take up to 125 points of runes and the Thane 75. They can go on an Oathstone or Shield Bearers. They can take a pistol as well. They can take a shield and a great weapon as well. And then obviously they can rune their hand weapons or great weapons. They can rune their armour, talismans, etc. etc.
I think the Thane still can't go on shields. I think the Thane still can only go on an Oathstone. Might be wrong.
No. May take one of the following. Oathstone,
May
Shield
take
Bearers.
one of the following, mate.
Oh, huge
He
change.
can go on shields.
So, I mean,
You could have a 6 wound Thane. 5 wound Thane.
again, well, and you can get more wounds on them.
You can.
Runes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big shift because that does then question whether I want to take the King. But then
Okay,
it's my core, isn't it? I'm
You're not
going to
getting
want
the
the
long beards in the
Longbeards.
core.
Um,
I think you do.
So, Oathstones, these are 15 points, really cheap now.
Yeah, very good.
They used to be a bit more. Challenges issued by a character with an Oathstone can't be refused. That's nice,
Yeah.
but it does mean he kills a lot of champions, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
it doesn't interact with a lot of stuff though, because the way challenges works now, unless you're in base of him, you can't accept it, can you?
Yeah, if you're in the
Yeah,
fighting
you can
range,
if you're in the
accept
fighting range,
challenge.
Well, you make way. I
Yeah.
don't think you.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
of course, you can make way for challenges. You
Yeah.
can't make way just into standard
A
combat
character with an
forces.
Oathstone and any unit they have joined automatically pass panic tests, but can't flee. I have to say, this used to be really great because you used to not count as having flanks or rears.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, an Oathstone does feel like something I wouldn't bother with.
Yeah.
It's hard to...
You
like the
leadership,
auto
you leadership
panic.
like 9 or 10 though.
Yeah.
The high
it's
leadership.
unlikely.
And you can't then
Yeah.
choose to flee, so there's an active
Most
negative.
of your stuff's got veteran or can buy a veteran as well.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're worth taking.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them. The shields, however, I am very sold on, even though you end up on a really big base now. Still very good. 50 by 50 heavy infantry. They're born aloft, which means that the shield bearers and the king are now kind of considered to be Thane are now considered to be kind of one, if you like. They consist of 4 models. The character and 3 loyal retainers. The loyal retainers confer 3 strength 4 attacks, which have got Gromrel weapons, so they're -1, and weapon skill 5, and they are very distasteful of orcs and goblins because they hate them.
Yeah.
So they use the split profile cavalry rules for this, but are heavy infantry. The king gets +3 wounds for being on the shield, or the Thane gets +3 wounds for being on the shields. So effectively, you're starting at 6 wounds on the Lord, or on the king, or 5 wounds on the Thane.
Doesn't get any bonus to his armour, which I think is a bit of a shame.
That was a big change. It used to be +2,
Yeah.
which was a wildly large amount. I was still expecting +1, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But they haven't allowed us to keep that. Sorry, guys. But we are only paying 60 points for +3 wounds, which is pretty hot, and +3 attacks. It's pretty hot. So. Yeah, I do think you'll see plenty of those. There's a new model coming out for it. I know that a lot of people are very excited about that. Moving on. The only real bit of magic we got one other thing that cast spells later, but is the Anvil of Doom. Definitely feels more viable than in previous sets of rules. It's been a while since an Anvil's graced the tables, and I think it will now. Bit different as well to how it used to be. So it is a war machine still, which it has been in the past, but you don't buy it as an upgrade for a character. It's now purchased as like as its own thing, so it's not really a mount. It's one anvil which consists of a Forge Father and Anvil Guard. They have heavy armour and shields, not full plate. And there's quite a lot of special rules that go down with this bad boy. So
that one's really good.
It's toughness 7 with 5 wounds.
6 with 5
and because it's a war machine, if you charge it, you have to instead get through the toughness 5 4 wound, weapon skill 6, Forge Father and Anvil Guard. So potentially it could take 8 wounds, 7 wounds in a game and still be alive.
Yep.
Which is mad.
Could take 8. No, you're right, 7.
7 would be the cap, but it could take 7 wounds and still be alive, which is pretty mad. So it's Ancestral Shield, very useful. The Anvil, the Forge Father, the Guard, they all have a 5-up ward save.
Very nice.
Which is pucker, because you've got it in combat as well.
Yes.
It's really strong. It's got Gromrel armour, so rerolls 1s to armour save. They've got Gromrel weapons, so all those 5 attacks are -1 to your save. They hate orcs and goblins. It's immune psych. It's got magic res -3.
Yeah,
so it doesn't
don't try and cast spells.
It's resolute, which I think is pretty pointless because from a variety it can't move. It's got rune law, which we've looked at earlier, which is the thing that says it's a level 3 wizard.
Level 3, yeah.
It's a skirmisher, so 360 arc. That's crucial.
Yeah.
It has striker runes, which we'll look at shortly, and it is unbreakable.
Yeah.
So it ain't going anywhere. Now
it can move though.
It's also a movable object, which I find really interesting because that's not
listed in its special rules.
But let's just go with it, right? Once the Anvil of Doom has been placed on the battlefield during deployment, it cannot be moved by its crew for during the remaining move subphase. So it could be potentially forced to give ground.
So it can give ground 2 inches.
But it can't be moved any other way.
It can shoot if it wins combat.
Oh, okay.
Unless there are actually generic restrictions for war machines pursuing, there might be.
There might be, but that would be quite funny if
it
we
would
could. Get the trains, boys, we're going for a walk.
It can still pivot freely at any time during its turn. The better to face the enemy and make a follow-up move as normal. So yeah, they can follow up.
But does not have a base.
No, does not have a base.
Doesn't have a base.
So me laughing,
shaking the
cabinet.
235. Feels reasonable for its points.
I don't know why they didn't just give it a base.
I tell you what's really odd to me is 100 points of runes.
Yeah.
When
specifically weapon armor or talismanic.
Yeah, rune lords can have 150, which is kind of meant to the Forge Father is actually a rune lord, so it's a bit odd. But
no, rune lords can have 125.
Oh, so they've reduced them as well. Yeah. But yeah, 100 points. There's still plenty. I've seen some really wicked rune combinations on this. Yeah. The obvious one is to give it a really good armor save. I think Mastering the Gromrel, which we'll talk about later, is about 40 points. That gives it a 1-up.
Yeah, 45.
And that's pretty hot.
That gives it a 2-up.
2-up.
Well,
yeah.
the Anvil gets a 2-up.
Well, the model gets a 2-up armor, and then you reroll 1s.
That's stupid.
And it's got hard walled. It's really tough. Yeah,
It's
really
it's very tough.
It can strike the runes. Now, I have to say, there's some real controversy around this, which I don't even know if the other two are aware of, but I'm going to explain it now.
Okay.
The controversy is that these can't be dispelled.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
So there's some. I'm not even really sure what the argument is that they can't be dispelled. But
well, the argument is mound spells can't be dispelled.
Yeah, but apparently, there's been some argument around it, and apparently someone won an event with dwarves, and the way they did it was by having I think it was 2 of these, and they couldn't be. Oh no, yeah, maybe 2.
They could have 2.
And they obviously couldn't be dispelled all game, so they just threw lots of dice at
Okay.
this. Now I just want to stress. You're going to be able to be dispelled at our events.
It's a balance.
Yes.
You're going to be treated exactly like a wizard.
No, it's because the wording of dispel says if you are within range of the wizard who cast the spell, and obviously the Amphil isn't a wizard.
Still needs to grow up.
So just so you're aware, you're going to be a wizard for the purposes of being dispelled.
Yes.
But it does have some really good spells.
Yeah.
So the Anvil can cast the following bound spells with a power level of 3. It has the Rune of Oath and Steel. Now there's a couple, this one's got a couple of values. It's a 7+/ 11+, but it's a big range, 24.
Yeah.
It does need them though, because it is immovable unless it's pursuing you. If this spell is cast on a 7, the target unit rerolls any failed armor saves.
Really nice.
Very good. If it's cast on an 11, they get +1 armor save and reroll the armor saves. So that's really strong. You can get 2 up rerollable iron breakers with that.
Yep.
Which is really, really scary. But it's even good on things like your hammerers that can suddenly have a 4 up rerollable armor save whilst using the 2-handed hammer.
Same with longbeards.
Rune of Hearth and Home. This one is cast on itself with a cast of 7+, so you need 4 because it's power level 3. Until the start of the subphase, all dwarves have been 21 because 24 would have been too big and 18 would have been
not enough.
Not enough. Are immune to psychology.
Really nice.
So,
yeah, very nice.
Very strong again.
Strong for a 7+,
yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know why you don't just do that every turn.
It's a range self as well.
Yeah. I don't know why you don't just do that every turn.
Rune of Haste and Urgency. This one's 24. It's a conveyance. So 10+ to cast. If the target friendly unit is not fleeing and has already moved during this movement phase, move it again. So that does give you potentially 12-inch swift.
Yeah.
Because you can march, or even more than that, 18 to really get in. And don't forget, you can drill with a lot of these units as well, so very useful. So I think this is why the Anvil is going to be really popular, because it does help in getting around that one big weakness of maneuverability. It still doesn't help with your charge ranges, unfortunately.
No.
But it does help in other ways. So we like that one. 10+ is a big number though, that one, but it is a big range. And then finally, the Rune of Wrath and Ruin is a 9+, 27-inch range, because 24 would have been enough, but 30 would have been way too much.
Way too good.
10 times the movement of a dwarf.
Yes.
I mean, that is wild.
Yes.
The target takes 2d6 strength 4 minus 2 AP
really good though.
Really strong.
Very good.
So I think you're going to see lots of Anvils that do.
Yeah.
They're one of the more competitive pieces. I need to paint mine. There you go. Mine has a base. We'll say it doesn't have a base when I use it, but it has a base. The base is cool. So we're moving on. Runesmiths, Mr. Chu?
Yeah. So we have Rune Lords and Rune Smiths. Weapon skills 6 and 5 for the Lord and Smith respectively. They're both strength 4, but the Rune Lord is toughness 5. The Rune Smith's only toughness 4. 3 wounds. Initiative 3, 3 attacks, and 2 wounds, initiative 2, 2 attacks for the Rune Lord and the Rune Smith. 120 points or 65 points. They're both leadership 9. They both come with heavy armour. You can upgrade them to have full plate armour for 3 points. You can give them a great weapon for 4 points and a shield for 2 points. They can take Oath Stones for 15 points, which I don't think they used to be able to before.
Nope.
No.
It's because the Runesmith model's on like a little piece of rock, and I think people have decided now that's
a nice thing. They can take weapon armour and talismanic runes of up to either 125 or 75 points, depending if you're the Rune Lord or Smith. They have Armour Bane 1, just as standard, which is very nice. Forge Fire, which means if this character joins a unit, the unit will gain Armour Bane 2 and Flaming Attacks. Should this character leave the unit it has joined for any reason, the unit loses these special rules. So weirdly suggests it doesn't give himself Armour Bane 2 and Flaming Attacks.
That's been an argument. Does he then get Armour Bane 3, which is a question for the for the brain trust.
Gromwell Armour, Gromwell Weapons, Hatred Orcs and Goblins, which is a common theme throughout the book. Magic Resistance -2, very nice. Resolute, Rune Law, and Stubborn. Nice that they're just stubborn, baked in.
Yeah, the dwarf characters have got stubborn baked in. I should have said that on the chopper characters as well. They're both stubborn baked in, which is really good. These are just as essential as they've ever been.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty much still must-takes.
Yeah.
For me, they are... It says 120 and 65, but they're not. They're 125 and 70. Because full plate armour and a shield, I think, are automatic includes. You're not taking these to be big beat sticks.
No.
Don't get into that trap of
They
trying
are
to
there
make them
to
fight.
not die.
They're there to boost your unit's damage output with the big armour bane and the flaming, which I forgot in the first battle report I used them on. Remember the armour bane, forgot the flaming. Trolls, got away with lots.
Also helping with the magic resistance.
Yeah,
and just dispelling spells.
They can, and they've got tricks for dispelling, which are really strong. They are what they've been, which is a really good utility piece in the unit, and they will continue to be. So they're great. You'll definitely take some. Probably leave your stone at home.
Yeah. I don't really see the need for a nice stone. Slayer's a legend.
Yeah. So you've got the Demon Slayer and the Dragon Slayer. Now they are weapon skill movement 3. That's pretty much standard.
We're not going to mention movement. It's all free unless we say otherwise.
Weapon skill 7 and 6 for the Demon Slayer and Dragon Slayer respectively. Both strength 4, toughness 5. 3 wounds for the Demon Slayer, 2 for the Dragon Slayer. Initiative 5 and 4, and 4 and 3 attacks respectively. They're both initiative 10, which is very nice.
Demon Slayer's as fast as a Duke.
Yeah.
He is. He's
a
dwarf!
130 points for Demon Slayer and 70 points for the Dragon Slayer. Now they come with just a hand weapon, the heavy infantry. They may purchase an additional hand weapon or a great weapon. A Demon Slayer may purchase weapon runes up to 100 points and talismanic runes up to 25 points. And a Dragon Slayer may purchase weapon runes up to 75 points. Now they both have pretty much the exact same rules, I believe, but which is Death Blow, Gromrel weapons, Hatred Orcs and Goblins, Immune Psych, Killing Blow, Loner, Magic Res 2, Resolute, Unbreakable, and Vanguard. Now that is the same across both, but the Demon Slayer has the Slayer of Demons special rule, whilst the Dragon Slayer has the Slayer of Dragons special rule.
Oh, so close, I was going to say. Slayer of Demons and Dragon Slayer.
But and those two rules are as follows. Now, Slayer of Demons, when this character makes a to wound roll of a 4+, when this character makes a to wound roll, a roll of a 4+ is always a success, regardless of the target's toughness. In addition, each unsaved wound inflicted by this character against a model with the Warp Spawn special rule or whose troop type is Behemoth has the multiple wounds D3 special rule.
So the Master of Alaric the Mad is Alaric the Mad on this guy. He will tear through.
That's ignore armour?
Ignores armour. Yeah, he will tear through. It's very
really strong.
Because he always wins on a 4.
Yeah.
Tearing through armour like that is pretty spicy.
Yeah. And then the Slayer of Dragons is same thing. Roll of 4+ always success regardless of toughness. In addition, each unsaved wound inflicted by this character against an enemy whose troop type is Behemoth has the multiple wounds D3 special.
The thing
now, this is where the argument of does it interact
the Death Blow
with Death Blow, because Death Blow says when a model with this special attack produces 0 wounds by an enemy, the unit that made the attack suffers a strength. The unit that made the attack suffers a strength 3 hit.
Yes. So the argument is the if you then roll to wound and successfully wound, is the wound inflicted by the character with that special rule, or not, essentially?
Because he's got the Death Blow special rule, and he rolls to hit, so you would then roll to wound.
You said you think we've ruled it that way.
Well, I'm pretty sure our FAQ is that we have ruled it that way.
I can't remember.
But
and neither can I.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Please,
but it makes sense. I mean, I think it makes sense. It does. At the end of the day, they've got the Death Blow special rule, and they also have the Slayer of Demons special rule. They would roll to wound whenever that character rolls to wound. 4+ auto wounds, and they take D3 wounds.
That makes sense to me. It does make sense to me.
Whether it's intentional or not, I don't know.
No, I was just thinking about the fact that there's quite a few ways that I can up the initiative of these boys as well, which means they've got a really good chance of doing some real serious damage to enemy dragons, enemy monsters, enemy behemoths before they get killed. And then potentially death blowing that thing as well.
Yeah.
Because you can get Mastering of Swiftness for 25 points on one of the axes, which gives them strikes first. You can go 3 runes of Speed, which would up the initiative to 7 and 8 respectively.
Very nice.
For 15 points. Very cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, think they're okay.
I think look, Slayer armies are going to be popular because of the journal list.
Yeah.
We know there's going to be it looks like there's going to be a Slayer list in a journal. I imagine that will be popular, and I think we'll probably see more combos then and there. But that's not out at the moment.
No.
So
No.
yeah. Overall, they're
solid.
okay.
Yeah.
Probably
It'll
not
be
going to make it
interesting
into
to
a lot of
see-
armies. Probably going to be in specific armies.
It'll be interesting to see how they interact with the potential of a Slayer list.
Yeah.
We will have to see. But with that, we are on to the last character in the book.
We are the Dwarf Engineer.
Yeah.
He is weapon skill 4, skill 5, strength toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 2, 2 attacks, leadership 9, 50 points. Really
50
cheap.
points, a great price.
Yeah, really cheap. Comes with heavy armour. You can't improve his armour save generically. You can give him armour runes. He can take weapon armour and talismanic runes up to 50 points. He can take a pistol or a brace of pistols. He can take great weapon for 4 points, handgun for 8 points. He has the Artillery Master special rule, which is unless this character is fleeing or engaged, once per turn during the shooting phase, a friendly unit of Quarrelers, unit of Thunderers, or a Dwarf War Machine that is within its command range can either reroll any rolls to hit of a natural 1, or reroll a single artillery dice. So the question around this rule is, when? When do you determine what he's going to do?
Yeah.
Do you roll your dice and then go, oh, actually my Quarrelers haven't rolled anyone, so I'm not going to use him for them, so... And then I shoot my organ gun next, it's rolled a misfire, I'll re-roll that. But if it doesn't roll a misfire, I'll then let it re-roll ones.
Well, the other question is that as well, is that I'm going to, even if you said, well, you've got to assign it at the start of the turn, I'll assign it to the organ gun, but do I then say...
assign, I'm going to re-roll
the artillery
dice, or I'm going to let it re-roll ones?
Yeah. I think it's probably assign it, for me, I'd probably assign it to the thing and then say, roll your, decide. Do either, yeah.
If you don't re-roll an artillery dice, you can re-roll ones.
Probably. Just for sort of ease of niceness. But, yeah, I mean, look, before, he was definitely he was probably a leave at home, an engineer, because the runes, the engineering runes, were really powerful in the Dwarf book. They made the Dwarf artillery really strong, and they were much more consistent for the points than your engineer would ever be. You could pay like 25 points for +1 to hit and 25 points for reroll an artillery dice, which did basically what an engineer did for you. An engineer was like 70 points, so why would I spend more points and also have to have another model, take it out of my hero slot, which in a Dwarf list was always a competitive slot.
Yeah.
So, but now, because of the changes to engineering runes in particular, and because of his reduction in points, I think these are 1+.
Yeah.
If you're going to take artillery, and by artillery I mean organ guns.
Yes.
I
really like them as well. He's also got the entrenchment special rule, which allows you to entrench a single non-character model whose troop type is War Machine. You can't entrench the Anvil of Doom. For each character in your army with this special rule, an entrenched War Machine is considered to be behind partial cover and to be defending a low linear obstacle. Should it move for any reason, it is no longer entrenched. He also has stand back chief, which means he can't be targeted by enemy shooting or enemy spells whilst he's within 3 of a friendly unit whose troop type is War Machine.
It's good.
He's got Dwarf Crafted for his shooting weapons, got Gromwell Armour, Hatred Orcs and Goblins, Magic is 1, Resolute and Stubborn.
And that stand back chief, that doesn't take away his normal lookout circles either. So
he gets
got
that
kind of quite a
infantry
lot of
and
options.
War Machines. Yeah, very nice.
Well, it's arguably better because it's not like it's where because currently
if you're
closer than the other unit, you can shoot him. Whereas he is just
he can stand in front of that War Machine.
Of a War Machine,
I don't know why
you can't shoot him.
Stop the War Machine shooting.
But
yes, he could.
It's better for him.
Yeah, much better. That's it for characters. But yeah, I do think you're right. I love engineers. I think they're 1+.
I think
you've
they're
got to
great.
take
Yeah.
Then Dwarf Warriors.
Let's get into that core
I
infantry
mean,
game.
Yeah, weapon skill 4 on weapon skill 4, BS 3, strength 3, toughness 4, initiative 2, 1 attack. Champion gets 2 attacks. Leadership 9, 8 points a model.
Heavy infantry as well, which is
Yeah,
nice
it's
to see them keep the heavy. I wasn't sure if the Dwarf Warriors would get it, but they have got it.
Great weapons and shields, point a piece if you want them.
Look, they're alright.
Both solid.
They're cheap enough at 8 points.
They've got hand weapons, heavy armour.
workable.
So hand weapon, heavy armour, shield. They've got 4 up.
Yeah, they
For
reroll
4 up for 9 points.
No.
They have got close order, Hatred Orcs and Goblins, Magic Res 1, Resolute and Shield Wall.
They've got shield ball though, which is
Shield ball's nice.
Which is nice.
means they can elect to automatically fall back in good order instead of taking the test.
Yeah. So you can take full command.
No, it's if you fall back in good order, you give ground. Stubborn is you don't take the test, you fall back in good order.
Yeah.
So if you have both, you don't take the test and you give ground.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
You can take you can take all
Command.
Command, that's the word I'm after. Yep,
No
5
worries.
points apiece. Veteran may purchase a weapon runes of up to 25 points. So 25 points of weapons on your champion. 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 points may have drilled, veteran, and purchase standard runes up to 50 points.
It is unnecessarily confusing. They've called the unit champion a veteran, and they can also have the veteran special.
Yeah, so you have a veteran.
Yeah.
Because on the list, that's
A
just
drilled
gonna look like
veteran.
veteran.
Veteran's decent. The army starts with such good leadership though.
Yeah.
And if you can have an anvil from your psych as well, on the banging the anvil, I don't know if I'd always buy the veteran. For these guys, probably wouldn't buy the drilled, but I do think there's quite a few units that can purchase drilled, and I think for a lot of them you would.
I don't think drilled's bad. A weapon skill 4 of a great weapon.
No, you can get into marching column and then get out and charge. Is the idea.
It also
they
lets
will
you
use that
always
change,
march,
and
even if you're within 8.
but they've got
Not
the
the end of the
leadership.
world,
They're
yeah.
probably past that. They are the least useful of all of the infantry in the book, I would suggest. But that doesn't make them bad because they're not expensive. For what
No,
they
they're
do.
not.
No, yeah.
To be fair.
Onto some more useful and, dare I say, a unit that got a bit cheaper overall when you equip it up, is your Longbeards. These are brilliant. So 0 to 1 of these in your core if you take a king. We've already talked about how good the king is, there's probably no reason not to. Again, heavy infantry, 5+ unit size. They come with hand weapons and heavy armour. They are weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, which is huge. Initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 9. Start at 12 points. You can have an elder for a second attack for 6 points. And again, a musician and a standard for the same. They can take great weapons and or shields. They don't have to pick. They can pick one or both or none.
Or none.
Which is brilliant. And actually, there's a big argument to say you used to pay 2 points for the great weapons, make them the same points as they were before by giving them both, because you can always choose to use your shields in combat and benefit from the fact that they have shield wall in their rules as well. And they are Gromrel weaponed for the
They're
one
one that's
one
not
AP.
bad to go with the shield and sword shield on.
Don't have Gromrel armour, which is a shame.
No, that is a shame.
They are close order, they hate orcs and goblins, they're magic res 1 of course. Resolute, shield wall, venerable and veteran. They get veteran baked in, which is brilliant because
that's the point of
I'm not
model
paying for it.
You're basically paying 3 points for an extra weapon skill, an extra strength, venerable, Gromrel weapons over the Dwarf warrior.
Yeah, and
Really
much more customisable options on your characters.
50 point standard on every unit, which is great. The Elder can take 25 points on a weapon, 25 points on a talisman. So you've got a nice flexibility there. You could have up to 50 points, bit much on him, but you could do it.
Good to give yourself the option.
But you've got options, 0 to 1 may be drilled. I do think these are a prime candidate for drilling.
Particularly because I think you only have 1 unit. Unless you're going like maybe 3k and above, I think you probably only have 1 unit.
But again, it's 0 to 1 per 1,000 points.
Oh, so actually,
you're
never going to have more than that.
No, and you can. It's just so you can march in column and then reform and hit that counter punch. Really importantly, and they are venerable. So unit, unless they're fleeing, friendly units within 6 can reroll failed panic tests. And this is one of the reasons why I think veteran on the warriors is perhaps less important as well. So there's some stuff that I wouldn't take the veteran on now because I think. Well, I've got actually quite a few.
Probably going to be sitting
I can probably bang an anvil for immune to psych. I can probably re-roll panics as well from them. So, Longbeard's great. Just again, I'm not gonna keep labouring it, but they're always going to suffer from being really slow movement. The movement is the killer for the army.
That's the thing.
Infantry heavy with
Command
short
and
charge
resolute
ranges.
is unfair.
Tough.
The short charge ranges particularly hurt dwarves. Particularly.
Really painful.
Like you're saying, it's the core rules that hurt dwarves really, rather than
you can be in charge range and comfortably not have comfortably with infantry and not have dwarves in your charge range.
There's a lot of cavalry. Well, there's all the elf cavalry, for example, can be is in its minimum charge range is bigger than the maximum charge range of your its minimum charge range being if I rolled double 1 and didn't use my Swift Stride. I can still be in charge range and you be out. You not be able to charge, which is mad.
I will say though is that you don't necessarily want to be charging dwarves.
There's a lot of units you do want to charge. You just don't want to charge the 1 unit that's going to take away your charge bonus. That's it. So moving on to Quarrelers and Thunderers. These have got exactly the same stat line now. 9 points for the Quarrelers, 10 points for the Thunderers respectively. They're your missile troops. Thunderers have a handgun and Quarrelers have your crossbow. They're all weapon skill and ballistic skill and strength of 3. They're all T4, they're all initiative 2, they're all initiative 9. The difference being that the veterans in both units, also called veterans, the same as the warriors one, are ballistic skill 4. So better BS. Now I would say this is a huge come down. The last book they were exactly the same as the Dwarf Warrior. They just had a missile weapon.
Yeah.
They are effectively only 1 point more with the missile weapons, which or 2 points for the handgun, which kind of helps to offset some of that because you used to pay 3 points more.
Yeah,
but
you've lost a weapon
losing a weapon skill hurts them. But I do think that that's probably a positive because it's given the Dwarf Warrior a bit more of a place.
Yeah.
I do think because before I'm like these come with heavy armor.
Mm-hmm.
They can all purchase a shield.
Yep.
So they are now just as survivable
as a Dwarf Warrior.
Or they can all purchase great weapons
as well.
So they can.
They are more expensive great weapons, I think, than the Dwarf Warriors.
It was a bit like
they can do everything a Dwarf Warrior can do if they're weapon skill 4.
They just shoot you all the way there.
And that's where I think they've taken that off for a reason.
It was like an 8th though with crossbowmen and bleach swords for Dark Elves.
Yeah, exactly.
A bleach sword was like a point, like 2 points more, whatever, for a bleach sword like with crossbow.
So, Commander 5 points a pop for both. They can take pistols or brace of pistols on the veterans. Pistols 3, a brace is 5 points. They are all close order dwarf crafted. They hate orcs and goblins. They're magic res 1 and they're resolute. They are one of the few units in the game that doesn't have access to magical equipment on the unit. And they can't purchase any of the really spicy rules, but are very cheap now.
Yes.
So, and you know that's it really. They're worth having.
Yeah.
You can now move and shoot as well, which is helpful.
Yeah, I've said this and I've been ridiculed. I've not ridiculed, but I've had people disagree with me. I still don't think I'd take a Dwarf Warrior in an army where I can take Dwarf Corps that shoots you in the 3 turns that I'm not getting in combat.
He's got more of a place than he ever had, but I also agree. I would probably just
I
take
don't think that one drop of weapon skill is enough.
No,
personally.
Again, I'm not expecting to win combats with either of those units. So,
but at least these guys might kill a couple on the stand shoot.
Yeah, but I do have a shield ball on the others, which is useful. But,
you do.
But yeah, I mean overall, I largely agree with you. I'm still not taking Dwarf Warriors. I did actually expect Dwarf Warriors to be 0-1.
Yeah.
But sorry, 1+.
1+.
But they are not. So finishing up, what can go in core?
Yes. This I definitely would take again. Rangers. I don't know why you wouldn't take one unit of these in core.
No, they're really good.
They are basically weapon skill 4 quarrelers.
BS4 as well.
So weapon skill and ballistic skill 4 quarrelers. Strength 3, toughness 4. Leadership 9, leadership 2. They're 11 points, so 2 points more than a quarreler. They come with crossbows and heavy armour. You can buy them great weapons and shields for 2 points or 1 point. They can take throwing axes for a point, or you can replace their crossbows with throwing axes for free. Rather.
I think you keep the crossbow though for me.
Yeah, I think you do as well.
But I think
if you're going for it, I think
you could
keep the
purchase
crossbow.
the axes as well.
Yeah. Their command are 6 points per bit. They can take 25 points of magic standard. And the champion can replace his crossbow with a pistol for free or a brace of pistols for 5 points. They are dwarf crafted. They hate orcs and goblins. They're magic res 1. They have move through cover, open order, resolute, scouts, and skirmishers.
Yeah, really nice. Oh, Deadeye.
The old Deadeye, the champ. I really like these guys.
Why would you not take a unit in core?
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Skirmish missile troops are really good. They're even better when the missile weapons you're shooting are actually decent.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those missile weapons that are strength 3 with very little kind of armour penetration, you can take the skirmishes that you want, no one cares. But for these guys, they're strength 4 and they've got some armour bane on there as well. They're scary.
The strength 4. I'd always take them skirmisher. I don't think I'd ever bother with open order.
And a 30-inch
unless
range.
I'm taking like 6 of them.
The only downside to them is...
And a 30-inch range.
And a 30-inch range.
Once you've scouted them, they're basically going nowhere for the rest of the game.
But they can move with a -2 to shoot modifier.
Yeah.
Which means they can still hit on a 5.
Yeah.
Because of PS4.
Yeah.
And they've got 15-inch short range. So they're not that difficult.
And I don't think you necessarily scout them right up as close as you possibly can.
No.
Because they've got that such a long range. I think you just scout them perhaps a little bit in front of the rest of your army.
Yeah.
And
get
then
them into
if
some
you want to move
light
back a little
cover,
bit.
like trees, and then you're going, well, I'm -2 to be hit because I'm skirmish and that, and I'm blasting you from here.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, they're
big fan of ranges.
big fan, solid.
Yes.
Talking of things that I really like and that are really amazing, it is the boys, the hammerers. Do you want me to do it? Thank you.
Oh, full time.
So these are your hammer unit. These are your big kill power unit. They are excellent, right?
Yeah.
But the big thing that we've said several times is no one is going to fight them. Sorry.
No.
Sorry, guys. Everyone's just going to run away from them.
Yes.
Unless you pack everything in there and say, well, if you run away from them, it's going to be a draw, mate.
I'll be honest, I think I'd still run away from them.
Yeah, probably.
I would shake my opponent's hand and go get a bit.
Very mean. So don't forget that they benefit from your king or your thane joining them to give them hatred against characters, which means they're one of the few units in the game that really pose consistent threats to big, hard, well-armoured, well-saved-up characters on big monsters, that type of thing.
Yes.
So your dragon-type characters can take big damage from hammerers.
Mm-hmm.
So hammerers are weapon skill 5, their strength and toughness 4, they have 1 attack, their leadership 9. They are 16 points, which is pricey. 2 attacks for the Royal Champion, heavy infantry, but just wait until you hear all of the tricks and tips and whistles and bells. Can take shields for a point, actually probably worth doing.
Yeah.
Okay, all your command flavours are 7 points. They can be drilled for a point, excellent. They can be veterans for a point, also good.
So they are.
The Royal Champion can have 25 points on the weapons and 25 points on the talismans.
Really
Very
good.
versatile.
Yeah.
They're close order. They have Gromrel weapons baked in, so that's where the shield is useful and well worth thinking about. They hate Orcs and Goblins at MR1. They're resolute. They are Royal Guard. They have Shield Wall. They're Stoic Defenders and they're stubborn, which means that the first failed test they can automatically just step back.
Yeah, the first time they're chosen to take a break test, they can choose to not to and just fall back in good order.
75
And then the
points
Shield
for
Wall
banner
means that
as well.
turns into
Just
giving ground.
give ground if you use
So-
your hand weapon and shield.
So you've got that choice there if you really think you can get smashed.
Yeah.
They're Royal Guard. Your army may include 1 unit for every king or thane.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're joined by a king and thane, every model can issue and accept challenges as if they were a character.
Yeah.
Should the king or thane leave the unit, they lose the ability. Now, I believe the big FAQ from Games Workshop, big in inverted commas, said something about this. I think it was for Ground Knights, but I could be mistaken. I don't know if they win a challenge. Is it underdog challenge to the thing?
Nope.
No, then I've read an FAQ from a different game. It's fine.
Good.
So ignore that. Stoic Defenders though is absolutely top tier. When they get charged, they get +1 initiative and +1 attack.
Yeah.
So they go to 2 attacks at initiative 4. And I know what you're thinking, but they've got a great weapon. They're ASL. No, they don't.
No.
Their great hammers are +2 strength, strength 6, -2 AP, spicy, armor bane 2,
Extra
-4
spicy.
when you roll a 6,
Yeah.
magical attacks,
Nice.
extra spicy, and requires 2 hands.
Yeah.
There's no ASL here.
Nope.
Um,
Which is just called Strux Last now, by the way.
yeah, whatever. It's not here.
No, always.
ASL isn't here, and neither is Strikes Last. So
American Sign Language.
American Sign Language is also not here. I just got a dwarf frantically signing in the front rank. Very strongness. You charge me, I go to initiative 4 with 2 strength 6, -2 attacks as a minimum,
Yeah.
and you can up. Armor Bane 4, Armor Bane being -4 is plenty, but you could
Yeah.
put a Runesmith in there as well if you for top bands.
If you really want it, -6.
There is some really useful banners that we'll talk about later that can work really nicely with these, but
Yeah.
just be aware that people are going to probably not fire them.
You
No,
just
do
sit away,
everything
you're
they
gonna
can
shoot them, you're going to magic
to
them,
avoid
you're going to...
Yeah.
That's actually probably where people use breath weapons. They just sit next to the unit and just breath weapon them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
you're not going to
And
charge
you have to
them.
be
Yeah.
careful though, because they're drilled.
Yeah, but you sit at, like, literally next to them.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
an inch
but
away
if,
from
if,
them
it,
on the
if you
side,
put them across like a sort of corner shape,
Yeah, if they're
you make it
right in the
trickier.
corner. Yeah, of course.
And then I've only got to drill like a couple of guys on the front
Yeah.
rank to be able to
Yeah.
see any part of you, and I can declare the
Yeah.
charge. Even if it's
Um,
disordered, I'm not massively
no.
fast because you're not going to kill all of me.
And I don't actually think you mentioned, but they can take up to 75 points of standard rooms.
I didn't. Very spicy, yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, they're very,
Very
good. Speaking of very good, I'll pass to the Oracle.
Iron Breakers. Yeah, I mean, still really strong. Like, weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 9. The Iron Beard, who's the champion, gets a 2nd attack.
Iron Beard.
They come with full plate and shields baked in, so they got 4 up, really nice.
3 up.
3 up.
Full plate's a 4 up, isn't it? Yeah, apologies.
Same as they always are.
Yeah. Any unit may take a command, 7 points apiece, really nice. The champion, the Iron Beard, may take a brace of Drake fire pistols for 10 points, or a Drake gun, which is nice.
The Drake gun
we'll
is
go
the
through
Iron
those.
Drake's
We'll go
gun.
through
Yeah.
those below.
We'll cover that later.
The champion may also take Cinder Blast bombs, which we'll get to
Hand
those.
grenades.
We'll get to those when we cover Iron
Oh,
Drakes.
sorry.
And an Iron Beard may also purchase weapon runes for up to 25 points.
This can be a really expensive unit champion if you want it to.
Oh yeah.
He's
and
just
then,
like.
and then per 1,000 points.
Just throws his jacket on.
per 1,000 points, you can take point per model to have them drilled.
100%.
Or also purchase standard runes up to 50 points.
Yeah.
They're close order, Gromwell armour, Gromwell weapons, Hage dogs and goblins, magic res -1. They're a regimental unit.
Get spicier.
Yeah.
They've got resolute, runes of protection, shield wall, and stubborn.
They are ace. So before we go too far, I want to dive into some of those rules. Gromwell armour, free up armour, reroll ones.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Gromwell weapons, -1 AP. Really helpful.
The combination of both of those on a unit,
Yeah.
massive.
Tough.
Yeah.
And then the regimental unit itself, I need to paint more Ironbreakers is what I'm seeing. I've got like 6, I need more than that.
You could take unit 6.
Yeah, you could.
Minimum
I need
unit
5.
Yeah.
And the regimental unit means that they can take detachments, and in a minute we'll see what potential detachments they might be able to take, but I won't spoil that
The
too
only
early.
potential attachment.
They are stubborn now as well, baked in.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
change.
which is
And the
good.
cheeky shield ball means that first time they fail,
First time they fall back in.
fall back
some-
in good
some
order, they
shield
just
balls.
step back.
Sorry, no. The first time they need
Yeah.
to take a break test, they're effectively just going to get ground.
But actually, like the shield ball means that they always
Every
give
time they fall
almost-
back in good order, they'll get ground.
because they're going to pass the test a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the runes of protection, which is the unit gains a 6+ wall save against any wounds suffered that were caused by a non-magical enemy attack.
It's getting
Really
harder
nice.
to kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice.
And then obviously just the Drake fire pistols and the Drake gun. So the brace of Drake fire pistols is range of 12, strength 5, -1, armor bane 2, dwarf crafted, flaming attacks, multiple shot 2, and quick shot.
So,
So
not
you're
bad.
always shooting
Not
them. They're pretty solid. Or you can also use them in combat, and you get a +1 extra attack and flaming attacks.
It's nice they're still flaming in combat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
The
that.
handles are on fire.
Yes.
No,
It's
you
just pistol
Surely
whips
there'd be
them.
strength 5 if he was shooting you.
Yeah, I mean, there should be. But there was one set of rules, I'm sure, where pistoliers used to fire their pistols in combat. That's how it worked.
And then you have
Nothing,
obviously
they couldn't attack next turn because they're reloading. They'll take 2 like that. But it was like, the strength 5 piercer with 2 shots. It's vile.
they can also take the Drake gun, which is range 18, strength 5, -1, 8 armor, bane 2, dwarf crafted, flaming attacks, and quick shot.
Very
Really
strong.
nice.
Really
good.
strong.
Yeah.
15 points a model. I mean, you're almost certainly going to have them drilled, so they're 16 points a model.
Yeah.
But yeah, worth every penny. Very hard to deal with.
really
They're
good.
never giving their points up. And that's the
Not
crucial
really,
element.
no.
They're not
Yeah.
giving their points away unless you take like 6. They're
Yeah.
really going to be hard to get off the desk.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Drakes up next, which is
Another fantastic
Arguably
unit.
Yeah.
the best unit in the book. At
Yeah.
the moment.
They're up there, aren't they?
Oh,
one of the
I'd
best
say
shooting
so.
one of the best shooting units in the game, I'd suggest.
Yeah.
Hugely improved.
As they were in 8th.
They're better
They
than
were
8th,
terrifying in 8th, let alone now.
They're way better than 8th though.
Yeah. So they are web skill 4, ballistic skill 4. strength
That's
and
why they're
toughness
better than
4.
8th, because they used to be BS3 in 8th.
Yeah. Initiative 2, 1 attack. Leadership 9 for 15 points, so same as an Ironbreaker.
They have lost a point of weapon skill.
Yeah,
They used to be
they
five.
used to be the same, basically the same
They were
stats
just
as
an Ironbreaker
weren't
with
they,
a gun. But
Yeah.
now they've switched them to be like, well, no,
Which
they're more
makes more
trained with a
sense.
weapon and less trained with a hand weapon. Don't mind.
The Iron Warden does get PS5 as well.
he does, yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild. They come with hand weapons, Drake guns, which we just went through that the Iron Beard for the Iron Drakes could have, and full plate armour. So all their command options are 6 points. The Iron Warden champion can replace their Drake gun with a brace of Drake fire pistols, or the one you take, the Trollhammer torpedo.
Which is significantly cheaper than it was before.
Yes, 15 points.
25, I think. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, the Iron Warden can also take Cinder Blast bombs, which I'll go over as well. And 0 to 1 unit per 1,000 can have drilled for a point, and can purchase standard runes up to 50 points. They've got close order. They are the detachment for the Ironbreakers, obviously. They've got Gromwell armour, Hatred Orcs and Goblins, Magic Res 1, Resolute, Runes of Warding, and Stubborn. And Runes of Warding is a 5-up ward against any flaming attacks. So pretty solid. The Trollhammer Torpedo, then first off, is 24-inch range, Strength 8, -3 AP, Dwarf Crafted, Flaming Attacks, Multiple Wounds, D3.
Now, one of the things that hurt
Terrifying.
this before was that it was slow to fire,
Yeah.
and where everything else was quick to fire, you'd move and not suffer the penalty. He'd be hitting on 4s or 5s quite a lot. But now, because he starts at BS5, he can stand shoot with it
Yeah.
outrageously, which he couldn't before because it was slow to fire. It's so much better, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's the best piece of artillery in the game.
Yeah,
It really is the best piece of artillery in the game.
It's like the minimum size unit, 96 points with him with a Trollhammer Torpedo. It's a cannon. It's
This
another
is
cannon.
when you don't buy drilled. In fact,
Yeah.
I would say it's better than a cannon. A dwarf cannon is strength 8 -2,
Yeah.
armor bane 1,
Yeah.
multiple wounds D3.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to chuck a runesmith in there, it's armor bane 2.
And I've
Does it
got
stack to the weapon?
no, it wouldn't. it wouldn't stack on a cannon because
Not on
on
cannon,
these.
no, but on the
On
troll
the
hammer.
Trollhammer torpedo.
But what I'm saying is, you don't.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Could you get to -5 on the armour?
I don't know.
Yeah, yes, I think so. I
But-
think it would affect
But
this,
ultimately, this is so much better. It's the same strength. It's better basic AP. Instead of rolling
Yeah.
the artillery dice, you hit on 3 probably most of the
Probably a
time,
3, yeah.
which is really decent, and the multiple wounds is the same, and yours is flaming, so there's no regen if they're flammable. So
Yeah,
There's no
it's
real
very good.
negatives to flaming anymore. It's not like it used to be where everyone and their dog had like
Dragonblade
Dragon
gems
or the
and-
Dragonblade
yeah.
gem. Like,
most of those are now only 5 upwards anyway, which
Yeah.
is so much less.
Some are
these
3
used-
ups.
These used to
You
have
do
2
get
ups,
some that are 3 ups.
but most are 5s now, aren't they? I think.
Most magical items that did it are 3 ups, I would say. Well, there
Are
are there are quite a few that are 3 ups, yeah.
Dragon Helm's 5 up now.
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Oh, the white cloak, I'm pretty sure, is a 3 up.
The white cloak might be, but the
Yeah.
Dragon Helm's a 5 up.
Oh, okay.
The
I've
Dragon
got it
Armour is a 5 up.
Oh, wow,
High
that's a big
elves.
drop. Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah, these are-
Iron Drakes used to be 2 up, they're
Yeah.
now 5 up as well.
Oh, okay.
Quite a lot of it has dropped to 5 up. So
And the Cinderblast bombs, these are range 8, strength 5 -1, flaming attacks, quick shot. A unit hit by the Cinderblast bomb suffers d6 plus 1 hits rather than the usual 1. So it's a sort of stand and shooting shot, basically.
it's alright, but I don't think you'd bother.
No, I don't know why you wouldn't just shoot them with your troll hammer,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I completely agree.
Well, I think it's one of those ones where on an Iron Lord, on an Iron Beard, an Iron Breakers, it's probably worth taking. 15 points.
Maybe.
It's that extra little stand and shoot bubble. You're not going to take it over a Trollhammer torpedo,
No.
but the thing is, you hit once.
It's not
And
dwarf
it's-
crafted though,
and it's
he's probably going to be
D6.
hitting on a 5.
Maybe, I suppose
Yeah.
that's probably why it's better on the Iron Drake. But you hit once and it's D6 plus 1 hits.
It's not
So
terrible.
it becomes it becomes
Yeah,
uh,
d6 plus 1 hits rather than.
yeah, they
your
suffer
one.
D6, but yeah. So I mean that's really
Yeah.
good at that point.
Yeah. I mean, look, overall, Iron Drakes in units of 3 with Trollhammer torpedoes, very, very strong. One of the best things you can field in
Do you
this
mean
game.
units of 5?
5.
Yeah, units of 5, sorry. 3 units,
3 units
of
of
5.
5.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
96 points.
Very, very good. So moving on to Dwarf Warriors that dig underground, aka
Miners,
Children.
indeed. But not children. They might look like children, but they are not children. There's
That's
probably
going
some
That's going in a book.
There's probably some beardlings in there. But so miners and the champion, aka the prospector.
the Prospector is the best name.
All over
Well,
finger is
the
just like,
Prospector's the
ye
villain
old-
from Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
Stinky Pete. But, yeah, so weapon skill 4, PS 3, strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 2, 1 attack, or Stinky Pete gets 2 attacks.
Other Disney movies are available.
It's not Disney, it's Pixar.
Disney Pixar.
No, I
Yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're for kids. You should be watching it. But
It's like 6 when it came out.
you weren't that young. So the option is the entire unit may take blasting charges for 2 points a model. We'll get to those. You can have obviously full command, and the prospector may take a steam drill for 20 points. We'll see that below. 0 to 1 units per 1,000 points may replace the close order special with open order for free if they want to. They can have the veteran special for a point a model,
Like that.
and may purchase standard runes up to 25 points. Now they have
Not much of a
ambushes.
Magic standard, but it's nice that they've got
It's
an
still-
option.
It's an option.
Yeah.
They've got ambushes, close order, hatred, orcs and goblins, magic is 1, resolute and vanguard. Now blasting
3-inch bad boy move before the game starts.
Now blasting charges are range 6, strength 3, -1 AP, armor rate 1, flaming attacks and quick shots. So they basically just throw dynamite at you on the way in.
Yep.
I feel like it should be better than strength 3 -1,
Yes.
my opinion, but you know, we move. And the steam drill, which is very spicy, is strength plus 3, -3 AP, furious charge, requires 2 hand weapons, strike last. So the prospector's going in at strength 6, -3 AP.
And that's when he comes on behind you in the ambush, and he's like 3 attacks, baby, because I've moved more than 3 on the charge, because that's my movement.
Yeah. Obviously, it is worth mentioning that
So
miners do have great weapons, as well as heavy armour. And if you have the steam drill, if they're held in reserve for the ambush special rule, then you may re-roll the d6 when attempting to turn up.
That's really nice.
what's really good
Which
about
I
that
think's worth it
is,
for the 20 points.
does
of
it
that.
say they may re-roll if they fail to turn up, or they may
No.
re-roll?
No,
Just
they
say
re-roll,
re-roll
they
when
re-roll
you
the
turn.
d6.
I don't want them now. I have them
Yeah.
later.
Mm.
I think that becomes a real tactical.
Well, I think
thing.
actually it's not too expensive and it's probably well worth taking the steam drill. If you're going to take miners, I think you take the
Yeah.
steam drill.
Yeah, I think they probably were always like that, and
Yeah.
and I think they've probably not changed in that way. I think that you'll find that you don't have space for them, but they're not
Yeah.
terrible. You just won't have space for them.
Yeah.
There's better great weapon stuff, But it's quite cool to get on the back line.
You get the minecart pony as well.
So-
the best unit filler in the game.
Something that's
that's got rules in the Archangel.
something that's a bit of a shame in a way, and I've said it a few times, and I'm not sort of trying to bag on things, but something I think is a real shame is the way the missions are scored in this set of rules. I really think that porting the missions from 8th, the core missions from 8th were just, they were alright, they weren't more than that, and they've really just ported those over, and I think that was a crying shame. I really feel like armies like Dwarves, there's others as well, with units like this, they could have such a value if there were missions that were maybe had a bit more of an objective, or that you scored secondaries, like back in the day, things like table quarters was there, or getting in opponents' deployment zones. These would be really great, and then you'd be looking at them and thinking, I could score 250 points off a secondary if I've got these guys. So I'll take, you know what I mean, and it would really kind of create multiple layers to the list, if you like. But I think when you're looking at, well, I need to make sure I'm, you know, not giving away too many victory points, or not giving away too much unit strength, because of unit strength missions, I need to make sure that I'm kind of conserving. These guys don't really do any of those things, and so they probably, even though they're decent, they probably get left, which is a shame. So there's one for the future, maybe some sort of like, what do they call it, like General's Handbook type guide,
match play
guide, General's Handbook, whatever they want to
I
call
could
it,
see
that sort of thing. That could be really positive for these, to create, maybe to have some more mission based stuff, and then suddenly it would really flex up and change up the way people are playing the game. That'd be cool. Slayers?
Yeah, they're the last infantry.
They are.
in the book.
They are indeed. So you've got Troll Slayers and Giant Slayers. Your basic Slayer is your Troll Slayer. Weapon skill 4, Strength 3, Toughness 4 with 1 attack, Initiative 2, Leadership 10. 12 points. Giant Slayers, they get an extra weapon skill and an extra strength, an extra initiative, and an extra attack for 7
really,
points.
so 7 points. That's
Well, if you're
it's about the best character and the best champion in the game.
Of course they're Leadership 10, mate. You dye your hair that colour and walk outside. You've got to be brave to take that on the chin. People are going to comment. They're going to comment.
They are...
Hashtag justice for the chieftain.
They are, I think, the only regular infantry in the book. They're not heavy infantry.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they are.
Pretty sure they're the only regular infantry in the book.
Because they're literally in their pants.
They are in their
Yeah,
pants.
but so they're still,
In their
they're
loincloths.
still chunky boys.
They can have additional hand weapons or great weapons for either 1 or 2 points a model. Any number of models can be upgraded to Giant Slayers for 7 points.
Oh wow.
And any
That's
unit
really good.
can upgrade 1 model to a Standard Bearer or a Musician for 6 points per unit. And they can purchase standard runes up to 50 points.
I just want to point out, you could have a unit of 19 point Slayers. 20 if you gave them 2 hand weapons. 20 points a model for a Giant Slayer with 2 hand weapons. That is why you will not upgrade any number.
You take one.
5 is 100
you
points.
you maybe have a couple, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 is about the right number.
2 or 3.
Well, the problem is, right, there's a question to this.
Yeah.
Does the Giant Slayer count as a champion? He doesn't.
No.
Yes.
So there's no...
any model with this special rule can issue and accept challenges in the same manner as a character. He's got the fighting special
that's
rule.
good then. I was going to say, because if not, there's no one that can actually accept challenges.
Yeah.
So he's probably... I reckon you probably take 2. 2 or 3.
2 or 3, I
Yeah.
think you do.
Giant Slayers always, well, with being unbreakable, it's pretty scary to take a couple, keep sort of holding something really big and scary in place again. You've got a lot of really great options there. With that combo, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
Giant Slayers always fill up the front rank first, guys.
Yes.
Outside
they push
of
past any Troll Slayers.
yeah, which is if you have a Standard Bearer and a Musician, both the Standard Bearer and Musician are Giant Slayers if you've got sufficient Giant Slayers, effectively.
And if you only have 1 Giant Slayer but both command options, then the standard is the Giant Slayer.
Yeah. So he's a champion and a standard now,
Yes.
which is a bit funky. But if he dies in the challenge, someone will still pick his banner up, right?
No.
No.
Because he's the Standard Bearer who's in a challenge.
Maybe you'd have to check the rules for standard bearers, I guess.
Well, no other Standard Bearer can be in a challenge, I don't think.
Yeah, PSPs, I guess, but they're different because they're a character and he's not a character.
Yeah.
That's one that we'll have a look at, guys.
Special rules wise, they've both types of Slayer have got Death Blow, they've got Hatred Orcs and Goblins, Immune Psychology, Magic Res 2, Loner, Motley Crew, Open Order, Resolute, Slayer, and Unbreakable. And Slayer means if you basically never need worse than a 4+ to wound, regardless of their toughness. Giant Slayers, as I said, also have Fight Me, which makes them able to issue and accept challenges.
Motley Crew lets you mix those weapons
Yeah.
up. We had add hand weapons and the great weapons earlier.
Yeah.
Lets you mix and match. So yeah, some useful stuff there.
They're okay. They're gonna struggle with the fact that they're just not really gonna get anywhere.
they're going to struggle with being infantry.
Yeah.
That's it really, and
And
not having
movement
much of a
3
save.
infantry.
So you will have to
You say
keep
not
some
much of a
man.
save.
No
not,
save.
not any save.
Well, you can get some save.
You
on
can.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's banners
It's
that
banners.
give units saves in
Can they
bubbles and
take a
things.
banner?
They can up to 50. Up to 50.
50. So we'll move on to Airfleet Zufbar. And a bit of a shift up, really, if you have followed Airfleet Zufbar's coloured and patchwork history. We have changed from a fighter fleet more to a bomber fleet, or that's what we'll be doing as we move through this set of rules. I'll explain some of that why in a minute. Gyrocopters and gyrobombers, both very good, in slightly different ways I think now, but both still very useful. Start with the copters, 60 points for these bad boys, so I think they're cheaper now. Weapon skill 4, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, initiative 2, 2 attacks, initiative 9, very good. They are monstrous cavalry now, and you can take them in units of 1 to 6.
Odd.
So get ready for
18.
18 in your army.
Yep.
They can have a brimstone gun, a clatter gun, 5 points for the brimstone, 10 points for the clatter, but they would swap their steam gun for one of those. The steam gun is a bit of a How the Mighty Have Fallen. It's remained at strength 3 and -1 save, which is what it was before, but it's a breath weapon now. So it's a flamer template, which obviously the partials and the larger bases really reduce the effectiveness of.
Can't march and shoot it.
It can't march and shoot. The brimstone is, in my opinion, very good now. 18 inch range, strength 5 -2, scary. Dwarf crafted for that no minus on that stand to shoot. Flaming as well, brilliant. Multiple shots, D3 +1, which does hurt it in that it knocks it down by 1 BS, but it is quick shot, which is nice.
Yeah.
The clatter gun is equally useful. Strength 4 -1, 24 inch range. Armor bane 1, dwarf crafted again. It's move and shoot though, which means you can march and fire that one.
Yeah,
which
that
is
is
good.
nice.
Multiple shots D6 as well, so lots of dice, and again retains quick shot.
Yeah.
So both of the actual guns are better than the steam now.
Yes. For me, I prefer the brimstone gun. It's a bit cheaper. I like the extra strength and the guaranteed extra AP.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think that's the better of the two, but
Yeah.
I do think there's a place for the clatter gun because of the marching and shooting.
Yeah.
So there's
The weight
quite
of shots as well.
there's quite a lot of special rules here. It's very swingy though, isn't it? 'Cause it's D6.
Well, yeah.
It's got dive bomb, which we'll cover in a minute. It's got fire and flee, which I
Very
think
nice.
that is not being utilised enough by dwarf players at the moment on this because it doesn't because it's got the raw skirmisher. It aligns to enemies that charge it, so you don't have that same power. So if you think an enemy's going to kill you, if you think they've got enough mustard to kill you, you don't actually want to stay around for the fight anymore because you're not going to change their alignment or their facing with your positioning. So you're either speed bumping for a reason and going, well, they'd make that charge, but they won't make it on an overrun.
Yeah.
So I'll speed bump you, or you're saying I'll fire and flee, which is good. They fly 9, which is decent. They hate orcs and goblins, obviously. Impact hits D3, magic res 1, skirmisher, swift stride, vanguard. These are really good at knocking out single enemy models. They're really good at killing enemy artillery. So.
Yeah. So I've just noticed that's magic res 1, not magic res -1. Do you think they add 1 to any spells that are cast?
Oh, okay, interesting. Same on the gyro as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Easier to be. So once per
Because
game,
they are a big flying metal thing.
Well, yeah.
You know, they basically
Attract
just
the light.
They
they're
attract
a
the
riding
magic,
rod.
yeah.
That's basically what they are.
So once per game, they can perform a dive bomb attack. To do this, they must fly over a unit during the remaining move sub-phase. Doesn't say they can't march when they do that, which is nice. The enemy unit takes D6 strength for hits -1 AP for every model in your unit that flew over it. In other words, if you've gone for the 6, it's 6d6. But if you've gone for 1, it's 1d6.
What was that, sir? Oh,
because you can have up to 6 gyrocopters in the one unit.
Got you,
yeah?
got you. I
However,
understand.
for each roll of a 1 made when determining the number of hits, you just lose a wound instead.
Yeah.
So,
Which could weirdly mean if you have a unit of 6, 3 of them could, roll the ones on the bombs and
just
kill a gyro.
Gyrocopter. They all just drop their bombs
On
above.
the other.
They went in a line and it was a big
Yeah.
error. Okay.
Huge misunderstanding.
So, overall though, still very useful, very flexible. Good choice. You're going to see them. They've got a place. You're going to see the bombers more than you did before, I believe now. But I could be mistaken.
Yeah,
but
I
I
think
think
that's
you will see them
probably
a
fair.
bit more than before. They've come down in points to 95 as well. They retain the exact same stat line as the copter. Except they gained a 4th wound.
Yeah, very
Which
nice.
is a big improvement on where they were before.
Did they have the same number of wounds before as the copter?
Exactly the same
wow.
stat.
Yeah, even though they're like twice the size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's the same kit. You just glue like a rail on the back.
Yeah,
For
with
one,
like
and not the other.
8
Put some
bombs.
on it. Monstrous creature. This one though, not monstrous cavalry.
Yeah, okay.
So slightly different there.
Yeah. Trying to think of implications.
Doesn't
it's
have
movement generally.
Doesn't have 360 arc,
Yeah.
which is the annoying thing with this because it would have had 360 arc without skirmish.
Yes.
It's cavalry.
Yes.
But no, it wouldn't because it's not a character, so no, it wouldn't.
Oh,
But this one is a monstrous creature.
Yeah.
It comes with a steam gun again and an armoured fuselage, which is full plate. Should have said that. The first one's got full plate as well. 50 by 50 is now the new size for them. Exactly the same options. Can swap the steam guns for a brimstone or a clatter at 5 and 10 points respectively. But this is where it gets a bit different. It has bombing run instead of dive bomb. It's close order, which is big. It flies 8, so it's a little less quick, but I mean your army's still keeping up with it. It hates orcs and goblins. It's got more impact here. It's D3 plus 1, which is bigger. It's magic resistance 1, which means your opponent adds 1 to the score. It's got swift stride. So it's lost vanguard, but it isn't skirmish, and this is the crucial element because it's one of the few things that's pretty manoeuvrable. It's a bit like an eagle, effectively. If you've seen people utilising eagles at the moment, they're going to be very big because they were traditionally very big in the past. They will be again. And the bombers are very similar. They're going to be able to actually change facings, and that's going to give you a chance to potentially get some charges with your duels. Yeah. Which is nice for things like longbeards or great weapons. It's also just nice for disrupting enemies, getting them in the flank, like breaking them down. Yeah. The thing with duels is you're going to struggle to catch stuff. But the bomber is probably tough enough that it could take a charge and pull an enemy out of position. Then next turn you could go in the flank and then put the bomber in again and use the bomber as the thing that catches if you break the enemy. Yeah. So I think and that's where the copters are very useful as well because they've got the 360 arc. They can just charge in to like a flank or a back or whatever and then just get you what you need, which is the ability to kind of catch the thing that runs. Yeah. These are both really useful units. You're going to need plenty. The bombing run. This one was close order. That's the key takeaway. What I think you'll see now a mixture, a couple of these and a couple of these. Whereas before you'd see like 4 copters and no bombers. Now you'll see 2 and 2, I think. Yeah. So this can form a bombing run. If it flies over a single enemy unit that's not engaged in combat, to do so, it does in the remainder of your subphase. Sorry. Once the model's movement is complete, roll on the chart below. It's a D6 chart. On a 1, there's been a premature detonation. The model takes a wound. On a 2, it's a dud. A solitary bomb is released but fails to detonate, but it does land squarely upon the head of an unfortunate enemy. The target loses the enemy unit just loses a wound.
I think that's probably the best result, I'll be honest with you. Like, that's not against a lot of things, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's alright.
Yeah.
He just says
drop down the Dragon Lord on a 2,
loses a single wound. Yeah, that's it. It's good.
Direct hit on a 3 to 4. So a cluster of bombs lands. Place the 5-inch template so the blast is squarely over the centre of the enemy unit. Once placed, scatter it D6. So it's a direct hit, but it's not quite a direct hit. It's not quite a direct hit. It's more of an indirect hit. Enemy models whose bases lie underneath risk being hit. So 4 pluses. Strength 4 -1. It's alright. It used to have a multiple wounds effect under the hull, which I think is a bit of a shame that they lost that, but it is a lot cheaper. And then on 5 to 6 is bombs away. You place 2 small 3-inch templates over the centre of the unit and scatter both of them. D6. Any model whose base lies underneath risks being hit. Strength 4 -1. I've got to be honest. I would rather have the strength. I think I'd rather have the direct hit 5-inch template than the 2 3-inch templates. Unless you get double, because the 3-inch template gets like 4 models under it, 5 models under it.
Yeah, but you are getting 2 of those. So if you're getting say 8. You know, you've
on 25 mil,
you've got the chance of.
It's the scatter though, isn't it? It's twice as. I mean, is there not a 6 one after the other?
Honestly, I'd just rather roll a 2.
Yeah, the dud's pretty dirty. But really, you're taking it because it's cheap and it's close order, and so it's giving you more control on the table. But yeah, both.
It's still got its gun as well after that, hasn't it?
It's gun's alright.
But it's not the only thing it's got.
And again, you can march and bomb. It's nothing says you can't do that. So that leaves us back to the iconic dwarf element, which is now iconically on your cabinet shelf for a lot of it, sadly. Yes. But we'll give it a go.
Bolt thrower.
Yeah, do you want to start with the bolt thrower?
Yeah, can do. Bolt thrower to start with. Obviously, it's toughness 6 now with 3 wounds. The crew itself is weapon skill 3, BS 3, strength 3, toughness 4, 3 wounds also. Initiative 2, 3 attacks, leaves you 9. So again, you could take 4 wounds and survive.
Yep.
Same as we were talking about with the anvil. It's just a bolt thrower. May purchase 100 points.
Feels quite cheap.
55 points ain't terrible for
Same points as the goblin one.
45 that was, I think.
Oh, there you go. It's 10 points more. So,
But you can take 100 points of engineering runes.
Yeah,
Got
that's a
Hate
lot.
Troops and Goblins.
However,
Magic res -1, skirmishers are stubborn.
I want to stress, engineering runes. I'd be staggered if you spent 100 points of engineering runes on any of your pieces of artillery. They are just not very good anymore. They're just not very good. We're going to go through them, and you're going to be like, "Wow, it would be a mission to get to 100 points." I'm not even sure it's possible because you can only have 3.
It's physically impossible.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't really get that. It just feels.
75 is the max you can spend.
I don't. Is it? Because don't forget you can't duplicate the masters.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So no, it's
Sorry.
not. It's going to be really less
65.
than that. Yeah. And you're gonna, and that's if you spend 65 points on engineering runes, you've probably spent 70 points too many. We're going to see they're just
Well,
not.
the rune of fortune is extremely common, so.
Oh, so you could have more than one on it, I suppose. You could spam it, but it's extremely
So you
common.
could take like
because
6
it's
runes of
not very
fortune.
good.
No, because you can
3
only put 3
three's
runes
the
on
cap.
one thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
That's
very good.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning, sorry, that all of the Dwarfen artillery all has the same special rules of Hate
Yeah.
Troops and Goblins, Magic res -1, skirmish, and stubborn.
I love that even the War Machine crew hate orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to point out the bolt thrower hates orcs and goblins. I don't think there's anything there that says it's just the crew.
The machine itself.
And the machine itself.
Inherently hates
the machine
orcs and
itself-
goblins.
Deep-rooted.
The equipment is bolt thrower, hand weapon, and light armor, which would suggest to me that the bolt thrower itself has a hand.
Has a bolt thrower.
He's sentient.
Has a bolt
and hates
thrower,
orcs and goblins.
And when it's not using that bolt thrower, can carry its hand weapon whilst wearing its light armor.
Unfortunately, it cannot make any attacks.
No, because it doesn't.
It
have
has
any.
no weapon skill or attacks.
Again, also just quickly worth mentioning that all of the Dwarven crew has the same stat line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's only
exactly
really
the
there's
same.
no point in going through the crew.
Yes.
I think bolt thrower's decent.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
just
it's cheap.
It's decent because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Grudge throwers. Moving on, they are toughness 7
They are
instead of
toughness
toughness
7.
6.
Still 3 wounds.
That's
95 points.
Yeah.
And obviously are a stone thrower, not a bolt thrower.
Which is considerably less good than it ever was,
Yes.
and probably isn't going to be something I'll take.
No.
Cannons. In that vein, 100 points. Also toughness 7 with 3 wounds. Also probably not something I'm going to take.
They're okay, but I'd much rather have a torpedoes.
Is it 5 iron drakes with a triumph torpedo? It isn't.
It's more points than 5 iron drakes.
It's
So-
4 more points.
And I get the 4 iron drake shots
Make it
as well,
make
which
sense.
are
Yes, you
not
do.
bad.
No.
So I think, for me, cannons are probably, maybe 1, but they're not great.
And here we have what is
This
the
is
best,
what I would
the best
This
piece
is
of
the one to
artillery.
take,
Yeah.
and you take
Yeah.
it with an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is the organ gun, 120 points, toughness 7, 3 wounds. Yeah, it's
Can't
just-
be ruined.
cannot be ruined.
No, but
Not
they...
the end of the world.
Yeah, that's
Would
a
be nice,
that's
but
a
not the
shift that they can't be ruined. They're considered, I think, the fluffies
They're
that they're
too
considered
new.
to be too new.
Yeah.
They could be ruined before, which is, but then, like I say, the runes are so much less useful.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's not the end of
I'm
the
going
world.
to take an engineer.
You just
I,
take an engineer.
I
to
get
do
it. You want me to take an engineer instead of ruining it. I get it. Like, I'll do it. Fine.
And I will.
Oh no! Now he's the same points as the runes I would have spent. I'll just
Yeah.
take him.
And then the flame cannons, the last one, at 125 points, just toughness 6.
It's the most expensive.
It is, and it is a
Arguably
5
worse.
thrower, so that's still template
Yeah.
artillery dice. That's how far it
I
moves.
believe so.
Yeah, so it's still.
and
So
then
you're still
then it's
risking
still
in here.
partial.
Then it's partials.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so expensive. Can't be
No.
ruined either because
No.
that's
Too new.
too risky.
Yeah.
It's a risky biscuit
just
to ruin it.
take 2 bolt fries, you're probably going to do more. If you
Uh,
get it for cheaper.
You
for
know what
cheaper.
though? If you like the idea of flaming shooting weaponry,
Oh,
right?
there we go.
Can I recommend? Can I
Iron
recommend
Drakes.
Iron Drakes?
Yes. Cinder blast bomb or.
I like the Cinder Blast bomb, but I think it's just ever so narrowly edged out by the Trollhammer torpedo.
Yeah, that's your artillery. I mean, in
Yeah, that's
reality, you're probably only ever going to take the organ gun. You might throw a cannon in there.
Maybe.
You might throw a couple of bolt throwers.
couple of bolt
Yeah.
The bolt throwers are cheap enough to not care.
Yeah.
So, on to runic items.
Yes.
So a bit of kind of working out here. There's rules of the runes,
Yeah.
but we can realistically summarise them pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
I'll give it a go, and then
Yeah.
Scott will tell me the
Can
ones I
correct
missed.
you when you get wrong.
So you can rune items. That's a hand weapon or a great weapon.
Mhm.
You can rune your armour. You
Mhm.
can wear talismanic runes. Doesn't really describe where I put those, but maybe
That's
maybe
how
on
they
a-
could be rings and
maybe on
things.
an amulet or a nice
Yeah.
ring.
Piercing.
A piercing. If I'm a piece of artillery, I can be have engineering runes.
Yeah.
And if I am a banner, I can have standard runes, and I think that's all the runes these days. Now, the runes have some sort of specific rules. No single item can have more than 3 runes put upon it at any sort of given time. But you can combine them in lots of ways. So you could have like a rune of burning on this axe and a rune of might, and then the next axe could have a rune of burning and something, a rune of might and something else. Yeah, you can still use them more than once unless they're a master rune. In which case they're only once per army, and an item may only ever have 1 master rune. So I can't mix and match 2 master runes on a sword, on an axe. I could have a 1 master rune and 2 other runes though, okay? And I think that's most of it. Like the rune of form, the rule of form, I can't be like, I'm taking this axe but I'm putting a banner rune on it. So that's the other one, is you can't kind of mix and match the categories. Is that all of them?
No, Rune of Pride. So no 2 runic items can be identical. So you can't have the same combination of runes
I glazed
on
over
an
that,
item,
but didn't say
on 2 different items. Rune of Duplication, which is the sort of extremely common thing. Runes with an asterisk you can take more than once. And they
course,
combine
on the same
and
item.
increase their effect. Yeah, on the same item.
Yeah.
You also, just go back to the rule of 3. No model can have more than 3 runes from each category. So you can't put 3 weapon runes on your hand weapon and 3 weapon runes on your great weapon.
Good.
You can't do that. But you could put 1 on your hand weapon and 2 on your great weapon if you wanted.
And mix and match it.
Yeah.
So
onto weapon runes.
So we'll be able to blitz through these quite quickly. There are some limits.
Yes.
Internally, but weapon runes, as we say, can go on a hand weapon or back on a great weapon. That was taken out last time, but it's back this time. Starting with the Master Rune of Smiting.
Sorry, before you get into runes, I did want to point out, if a weapon has got a rune on it, it is classed as a magic weapon and automatically gains magical attacks.
And then
which
loses
means
the Grom rule.
It will lose the Grom rule, but it means if you have runes on your great weapon, you can't choose to use your hand weapon.
Yes, that's true. So you need runes on both if you want to mix and match. Which would be a maximum of 3 across the 2.
Yes.
I'm not very keen on that actually. I think you should have to pick a weapon and rune it, and that becomes your weapon. But I can see the argument the other way. The other thing, because you can't take, you can take some magic swords now. But the other thing with these is, you said about losing the -1 AP, which is good. Don't forget that if you've got a magic weapon, you can't then choose not to use it either. So you can't say, well, I'm going to take... Did you say that?
Scott just
literally what I said.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
It counts as a magic weapon,
anyway, weapon rune. Yeah, it counts as a magic weapon.
Yeah.
Great. Master Rune of Smiting, we'll start with that. 75 points, multiple wounds D6.
Good effect.
Good on a great weapon.
Very
I
expensive.
think it's too much.
Good on a great weapon.
It is good. He's very good. I think it's very expensive. But
I think it's good. It's just I think it's a bit too expensive.
Yeah.
Scalf Black Hammer is the next Master Rune. A model with a weapon with this rune always wounds on a 2+, regardless of the target's toughness. Also, one I don't hate, 65 points though is pricey.
It is, and you're not getting any sort of AP from that.
No.
Which is a shame.
It's just 2+. Yeah, it's not. I think it's too much.
Yeah, you can give the weapon AP. I think
you can.
Yeah, for 15 points. So it's reasonably
is it common?
cheap. It is common, really.
Okay, so you could go.
So you could put 2 on there.
-2 AP always wound.
Or you could just put it on a great weapon.
95 of your points.
And wound most things on it too.
Yeah. And which you can also increase the strength of.
Yes, exactly.
So the next one I do think is very good. I've used this in a couple of games. Really powerful. Really see a lot in this. 45 points, Master Rune of Alaric the Mad. Would not have seen it very often before, but with the changes to armour and stuff, this has become huge. You can't take armour saves against a weapon with this.
Yeah, very nice.
Good on a hand weapon. Less good on a great weapon because you've got the natural inbuilt penetration.
Yeah.
But still useful.
You're not bad. You're going to get more wounds with a great weapon.
Yeah,
so
that's the
there
thing.
is that.
It's the extra wound power.
And against like characters who have got 3 up or 2 up saves, you might take off 2, you might take off 3 if you get the 6. They're still got 4 up, 5 up save.
Yeah.
Half the time. So I think it's still good on a great weapon.
Don't forget you can up your strength alongside that as
you
well,
can.
which is where it gets.
that's where it's good.
So next one, Master Rune of Dragon Slaying, 35 points, not too expensive. When you're fighting an enemy who's a behemoth, or when you're rolling to wound against a behemoth, you a roll of a 2+ is always a win. So it's like a scaled back Scalf Black Hammer. It's always wounded on a 2+, but only against behemoths.
Yeah. Good on a Slayer.
Yeah, good on a Slayer because
he's got.
it ups his successful wound rate
from a 4+ to a 2+, and then he does mortal wounds D3.
Yeah, which is solid.
But
very good,
it's a
actually.
lack of penetration, and because it's a master rune,
that's the
it's
problem.
But you can
You can
get
have
around
the AP though,
that. Yeah.
Master in a flight. This is why your boys have got some BS on their characters. This one is a hand weapon only though. Can't be chucking great weapons around.
No.
Do you like the movie Thor? Congratulations. Put on your winged helmet and toss your hammer at the enemy. So it turns your hand weapon into a throwing weapon basically.
Yeah.
It's a range of 12, strength of the user, so 4 unless you've inscribed it with some weapons that up your strength. Magical attacks, move and shoots. There's a bit of margin in there, whole 6 inches, and quick shot. How can I say this nicely? Garbage.
Don't waste the 25
It's
points.
just garbage. It's
Yeah.
cool.
25
Didn't it
points.
used to be like strength 5 armor piercing or something in 8th? It wasn't just like the base stats of the.
No, I can't remember. I remember it
I
being
thought-
like,
I
you
used
could,
to thought it
there was
gave
one
you
set of rules
fire.
where you could throw it twice.
Oh, nice.
Like that was pretty spicy. I think that was 7th.
When it was like Master Rune of Flight, I'm like, oh great, it's going to
No.
give you flight.
No,
It
no.
doesn't. He just throws hammer.
Yeah.
Strength of the user.
Yeah, ghost thought.
Get it out of here. On to the next one.
Master in Swiftness is 25 points for strikes first.
Very
Not
nice.
bad.
I like this, but I
Yeah.
do think that on your main lord, there's better Master Runes. Alaric Mad.
Very flat.
that you're going to want to use the Master Rune slot, if you like,
Yeah,
on his weapon for.
Yeah.
And because there's runes of speed, which are 5 points up my initiative.
Yeah.
And he starts at 4. So if you went with like 2 runes of swiftness, he's 6. I mean, that's loads.
Yeah.
And then finally, Master in a break-in on your weapon. So if you take 1 or more unsaved wounds from a weapon with this, then your magic weapon can't be used for the rest of the game.
Just counts as a hammer.
Just counts as a weapon. So I think this one's one that's very good on the great weapon again.
Yeah.
Because I know you're thinking, oh, you're probably going after them, so
Yeah,
rest
but
of the
they're probably
game's a
not
bit
going to kill
rubbish.
you.
But they're not going to kill you because
No.
you're a 6-wound Dwarf King minimum.
Obviously.
And the reality is that you're going to get the wound to stick with the great weapon, with your strength and with your AP.
Yeah.
So that's pretty hot. By the way, you can't put Master in a Swiftness on a great weapon. That one is worth pointing out.
A wielder of a weapon inscribed with a
I
master in
think so,
swiftness
not.
gains strikes
Yeah.
first.
Oh, I think that might be an FAQ thing then.
Oh, is
I don't know. It's worth a check. I saw some people talking about it. Apologies, I might be wrong.
Okay.
But I
It's
did
possibly
see
in
some
the FAQ.
people talking about it the other day and saying you can't do it. So it might be in the FAQ. We can check that.
Okay.
Weapon runes.
So we're out of the masters now. So these ones are much more freely mixable. You can either have 1 or multiples of on each of your weapons.
Yes. The Rune of Parrying, 35 points. Any enemy model that directs its attacks against a model wielding a weapon inscribed with the Rune of Parrying during the combat phase suffers -1 modifier to hit.
I think this is really good. Weapon skill 7 on a lord, 6 on a claim.
I like it, but I just feel like 35 is too many.
Really?
I think it's 10 points too many. I'd pay 25 for it.
So you must think
Minus
the
one,
Dazzling Helm is massively overcosted, which I would agree with. 65
I
is way
do
too
think
many.
it's too
but-
expensive, yeah. But you're paying for +1 armour. I wouldn't take it. I certainly wouldn't take it now. I can't put it on a monster.
Well, no.
Um,
I think for 35 points, I think that's really good. -1 to hit.
I think it's alright. I just think the thing is, like, you're not gonna like. I'd rather spend my weapon runes and my points on stuff that makes me kill stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think this was a thing in 8th edition as well, and I think it's still a thing now. Dwarf Lords don't kill enough.
But he ain't gonna die whether you've got that or not, mate. You ain't gonna kill him anyway. He's got a ton of wounds. He's got a wicked armour save, and he's got a good ball save.
I think a combat character on a dragon could give it a real good go.
I think he could.
Not
but
when the
I don't-
dragon's hitting him on like 5s. Because he ain't a weapon skill 7 dragon.
Most of them are. But you'd hit him on 5s anyway, because most ones hit.
Sorry, weapon skill 8 dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the stomp that you care about. If you get him in the challenge, you're going to go for the stomp anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And the stomp's the only thing you care about. But I just think when you've got a good armour and a ward, and you've got 6 wounds, you just don't care. And you ain't going to kill no dragon if you spend 35 points on that.
But you ain't going to kill a dragon anyway, unless you go for the multiple wounds D6 and get lucky.
I don't know. I think you can. I think there's good options. I mean, you could go for multiple points D6, but I think there's good options in there. I do. I don't think it's beyond the wit of man to be able to deck a dragon with a Dwarf Lord. But I think I just don't think you need more defence on him.
Okay.
I think he doesn't kill enough. You need more kill power for me. But I mean, it doesn't matter because the reality is in a lot of games he struggles to get in because people just run away from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, next one.
Rune of Banishment. So enemy model 25 points. Enemy models with the warp spawn special rule cannot make any ward saves against hits caused by a weapon inscribed with the rune of banishment. What's the wording on
warp spawns? You can't make regen saves against magical attacks.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's
So
nice.
you
So,
don't get
because it
ward
counts
or
as
regen.
magical, it cuts both ward and regen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice. That 25 points.
Yeah,
Not bad.
except all the demons can't make their ward saves against magical attacks. Because the demons ward save
They're not
says
warp
that
spawned.
specifically.
They are, or they might be warp spawned as well. But yeah,
They are ward spawned
Yeah,
as well.
so-
it's
I mean-
for like demon princes.
In reality, it's
They've
affecting
got warp
like
spawned.
it's
Demon
affecting
Princes are Warriors of Chaos,
Warriors
dude.
Chaos
some
demons,
Warriors
yeah.
of Chaos units.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't
Yeah,
see
you're
any
probably
point in this.
never
Because
gonna
most
take it.
ward saves can't be. Most of those demon ward saves can't be taken against magical ward
No,
attacks
that was my
anyway.
thoughts when I read it
Does-
initially.
does
I'm
feel
just
quite
like,
pointless.
yeah, I probably wouldn't run
Yeah,
that.
not sold on that one.
The Rune of Fury, our first extremely common rune.
Mm-hmm.
25 points. For each Rune of Fury inscribed on a weapon, it's wielded against +1 attack.
Too many
That's not-
points, but not bad.
Not bad. 25, maybe 20. It's the right number.
20
but
would
I don't
feel
mind
better.
it.
25.
I don't hate it.
Grudge Rune, 20 points. Extremely common. For each Grudge Rune inscribed on a weapon, its wielder may reroll a single as a hit roll of a natural one made during the combat phase.
Absolutely not worth
Too
it.
many points. If it was just re-roll a single failed to hit roll, better. Still probably too many points, but better.
I hate characters.
You do.
So, it is against everything, the God Rune.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
I probably wouldn't take
I
it.
wouldn't bother.
Rune of Might, extremely common, 20 points. For each Rune of Might inscribed upon a weapon, its wielder has +1 strength.
That's good.
Yeah,
good.
really nice.
Really good.
That's good.
Yeah. Rune of Cleaving, 15 points, extremely common. Hand weapon only. For each Rune of Cleaving inscribed on a weapon, its armour piercing is improved by 1.
Also good.
Yeah,
Good.
15 points, decent.
I think you've got to be really wanting to do something with the hand weapon though, like rune wise, because you get that effect for free from Gromra weapons.
Yeah, I think
So
that
you've
this
got
is
to want to sort of do it with.
this
things.
is potentially like 2 of these, and then like
right,
multiple wins or always wins on a 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Like always wins on a 2 against Behemoth, for example.
Dragon Slaying.
Yeah, and 2 of those.
Yeah.
That's
Minus 3 AP at that point if you're using a hand weapon.
no, because the hand
minus
weapon
2.
loses it.
Oh, cool. So yeah, so
But
minus 2.
Then the
and-
Runesmith goes in the unit with Armor Bane 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could do.
And you've got, I mean, that's going to put wounds on an enemy, on a monster.
Yeah, because most monsters ain't got much better than about 4 up.
Well, ridden monsters can get down to a 2, but most are going to hover around a 3. I mean, that will stick wounds.
It's solid on something like a Dragon Slayer or Demon Slayer, whatever one it is.
It's even better on them.
That's going for the D3 runes on Behemoths as well.
Yeah.
Always win them on a 2, minus 2 AP.
Yeah,
Solid
it's
on
good.
them.
Rune
Um,
Striking.
Yeah,
Extremely common.
for 15 points, each rune of striking inscribed upon a weapon, its wielder has a +1 modifier to their weapon skill.
I quite like that for 15 points. I don't
Yeah,
mind it.
solid.
It's a cheap one to drop on.
Yeah.
Weapon skill 8's nice. I think I'd rather have that than -1 to be hit, because I'm going to hit more regularly.
Interesting, okay.
And, alright, okay, so this weapon skill 7 stuff still hits me on a 4, but I'm hitting that on a 3.
Yes.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Um,
It is, you get a lot more effect out of a flat -1 to hit on weapon skill 7 than you do from increasing it to weapon skill 8 though. Because weapon skill 4 still hits you on a 4. Or would still hit you on a 4 if you're weapon skill 8. Whereas it would be 5 obviously against weapon skill 7 with -1 to hit. 3s are still 5/6s.
I'm only interested in what I'm hitting.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not massively interested in what you're hitting.
There.
Because he's just tough. He's just really hard to deal with. But again, I think it's about what you're looking at. It's about what you're looking at. The Rune of Parrying looks really spicy on, again, like stuff like your Dragon Slayers again, or your Demon Slayers again, really good because their weapon skill 7 -1 to hit really helps them because they can't get the kind
They
of
don't
access
have
to
to
armour
save
and stuff
and-
and the extra wins. Rune of Fire, flaming attacks, pretty pointless, this one, because a Rune Smith unit gives you flaming attacks.
Yeah.
So don't really see this one.
No.
Speed, I don't hate. 5 points for every one I spend is very common. For every one I spend, I get +1 issue.
How
Solid.
only?
But it
Can't put it
caps,
on a row.
and it caps obviously it's and then eating into your other rune slots.
Yeah, I think it's one you chuck on
Because
at
if
the
you
end
buff
rather
if
than...
you've done 2 big runes on a hand weapon and you're like, I got 5 points,
Yeah.
throw it on.
Don't hate it.
Mm.
Armor runes.
That's it for weapon runes, armour
Yeah.
runes. They obviously can only be inscribed on armour. Mastering of the Adamant, 100 points. A model wearing armour inscribed with this rune is toughness 10, can't be combined with any other armour runes.
Yeah, tough this one. But There's another rune.
It's good in this edition. It wasn't as good. It was worse in 8th because everything could wound
always
everything.
wound
But
you.
there's now active stuff that can't wound toughness 10.
Yeah, very true.
So
I think what 4 and 5 can't wound toughness 10.
Yes.
Um,
I think. Yeah.
Rune
I
of
think
5.
3 caps at 8.
I've seen a few people
Yeah.
So
chucking
4
this
would be
on
9, 5
their
would be 10.
anvils of Doom.
Yeah.
But I actually think it's a mistake to chuck it on your anvil of Doom.
Yeah, I think 7's enough.
Because,
think
well,
7's
if you
enough.
want 10, you can take 3 runes of Fortitude, which we'll get to later, and it's actually cheaper.
Yes. All that.
Master in
Save 10
Gromrel.
points. Master in a Gromrel. 45 points. You've got 2 up save. Can't be improved in any way.
10 points more than taking the armor of silvered steel.
But that's also a better save, because silver steel's so
That's what I'm
fair
saying.
enough.
It's 10 points
Yeah.
more than the silver steel. It's a 2 up. I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Do you know what though? I don't know. It's really frustrating. I think it's good if you're going to go great weapon,
Mm.
but actually, like on a hand weapon and shield guide, do I want to spend 45 points for +1 to my armor?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't if you're gonna
So-
run up the hand
It
weapon.
depends on obviously
Well,
what
you know,
you
if,
take.
like I think it's if you're going to go great weapon,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
100%, and then you don't buy the shield. You just
Yeah.
leave it out. Rune of Iron, +1 wound on his profile, 35 points. Banger, you can get 7 wound lord out of that.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
bad.
7 wins, shield bearer lord.
What I do like it on, to be fair, is a
A
Thane.
Thane's good on
3
the
wound
Thanes.
Thane.
Always been good on Thanes.
Again,
the
you've got 6
extra
wounds Thane on the shield bearer, and if you
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
Fortitude, this one is very common. You can spam it.
Mhm.
+1 toughness to a maximum of 10. So you could take 3 of these at 30 points each on your anvil if you want the toughness 10. But
Save yourself 10 points.
I think this can be very good on a variety of builds. To be honest,
Yeah.
a variety of characters.
There's a lot
Make
you
your
can
full
do.
floor, toughness 6. Solid.
There's a lot
6
you
is
can
a
do
sort
with
of
it.
pretty magical toughness,
Yeah.
seemingly.
Again, I just think like if you're going to go Thane BSB, it's another one that's really worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think it's good on him, actually.
Rune of Prezi.
Rune of Prezi, 25 points. This one means you're immune to killing blow and multiple wounds X. If you
Really
suffer an
nice,
unsaved
yeah.
wound, they just take a single instead.
Really good.
25 points is really good value for that.
For both of
Really
those.
good, particularly as you've got that 6 or 7 wound character,
Yeah.
and you do not need to be failing one save and getting decked.
Nope.
The only thing that I think means you won't see this as often is the next one, which is very common. Rune of Shielding's 15 points.
Mhm.
It's one of the few very good value 4-up wall saves available effectively.
Yes.
So you get a 6-up ward if you take 1, 30 points for a 5-up, 45 points for a 4-up. Really spicy. It's one of the only ways you can still get a 4-up.
ups over the
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
another reason for me why I think if you're going to run up the hand weapon, like a 3-up, 4-up, 6 wounds, you're tough.
Rerolling ones.
Yeah, you're
Really
tough.
got Gromrel armor.
Yeah, you don't need
Or
to
you
get
just
too
run up a
stressed.
great weapon because you've got 4-up wall save.
Oh, the ward save is
Yeah,
strong.
that's
So
it.
I think there's good options in that. But what's really dirty is that you do have the ability to get a lot of ward saves into your list, which other armies don't
Yeah.
anymore. Because you can go, I'll take 3 runes of shielding on one.
Mhm.
I'll take 2 runes of shielding and a rune of Prez on the next guy. I'll
Yeah.
take 2 runes of shielding
And a rune of
and a
stone,
rune of stone. I'll
'cause
take
it's
2
cheap.
runes of shielding and a rune of fortitude.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden,
You've got
Yeah.
all your characters, if you want them, realistically, have got 5-up at least.
Yeah.
More access to 5-up than anyone else in the game.
yeah, very easy. So that's very good. Although it used to be talismanic and it's now armor, I do think that's deliberate to try and sort of stop some egregious combinations with very good armor and very
Yeah.
good ward.
Yeah.
Although
Stone, last one.
Rune of Stone is single use. For each rune of stone inscribed on the armor, you may reroll a single failed armor save. I don't get this.
I don't know why you'd ever take it.
Other
Than because it's a cheap way to get like another combination
is
of
that what the
runes
luck
you've
stone
already
did
taken.
in 8th?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 5 points for just a luck stone.
It's alright, but again, I reroll ones on my characters
And
that I really care
I've
about.
got a 3-up armor save.
And
if
I've
you've
got-
got the
why
5
haven't
points
I got a
spare
free
on
up
that first 2 up, you're laughing.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's alright. I think it's more a combo rune. I
It's
want to
if
take
you've
the
got
same
it.
combo of 2.
I think it's
It's-
if you've got it.
It's as well, obviously, if you get hit by anything that's like AP 1 or 2, obviously your save thing gets
Yeah.
affected, you can re-roll it. But if you're getting hit by something that's a high AP, you're not really even likely to pass the re-roll anyway, so
No.
why are you bothering?
You're relying on your wall save. more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
So here we go then, into the talismans.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off with a Master Rune of Calm. I've used this on a engineer. I actually think it's a really
Yeah.
great place for it because
Yeah.
the engineer's got 50 points he can spend and actually not a lot of use he can do with them.
Not really.
But this is quite good for him. So 50 points for this bad boy. It's a bound spell, power level 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hex which is range self brilliantly. can do it all the time.
Yeah.
8+ to cast or 11+ for the bigger value. So if it's cast with an 8, wizards within 18 are -2 or increase their spells casting values by 2. So they need to roll 2 higher, which is great.
Yep.
Whereas if the bound spell is cast with a result of 11, that goes to 36 inches. I think it would be better if it -2 from your score because it would make it easier to dispel.
Yes.
But making it too harder to cast is also very strong. It does make a big difference.
When you conjunction that with basically the entire army being magic res -1.
Yeah, it is good. So that's decent, and I think the place for it is an engineer personally, and just throw some dice at the back and hope for the best. Master Rune of Balance, the Anvil of Doom or Rune Smiths only.
I will say though, the only risk with the Master Rune of Calm is that if you go second, it's oh no, it's called no, apologies, don't worry.
Okay, I think so. Once per turn, the bearer of the Master Rune may use it when attempting a wizardly dispel. If they do, roll an extra d6 when making the dispel roll and discard the lowest result.
It's a rulebook dispel scroll?
It's a better dispel scroll because you can use it more than once.
But again,
Yes.
There's that's similar with the argument we had before with the Orcs and Goblins. May use it when attempting a wizardly dispel.
But the only people who can take it are
that's
people that
different.
would wizardly dispel.
Yeah,
It's when they make when they make a dispel attempt, they roll an extra dice.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Master Rune of Spite. Each time the bearer loses a wound to an enemy attack during the combat phase, the unit takes a strength 5 hit with an AP of -2. It's pretty spicy, but I don't really know who this goes on.
Really, you want it on someone on shields because they've got the most wounds to take and then take the strength 5 hits.
Sorry, whoops.
But are you going to find the points?
No, I don't know. It's almost like a petty item. I feel like I'd put it on like a runesmith. Just be like, yeah, it's petty. But then I'd rather spend the points
for
on
one
strength
strength 5
point.
hits.
2 in it because does it not do a hit after I die?
Yeah, each time you suffer an unsaved wound.
Yeah, but he's dead.
I think what's really interesting.
Each time you lose a wound,
It would be worth knowing what the rules for suffering an unsaved wound is. Because it's each time I suffer an unsaved wound. I've suffered an unsaved wound, you take the hit. So I've got no issue saying that I take 2 wounds and die and you take 2 hits. But the bigger question is, what about in the challenge with all the overkill? If I roll to save the wounds, do they all count as unsaved wounds?
Yes, for combat res, because combat res is unsaved wounds.
In which case,
You
can I
could
do
do
like
loads.
6
At that
hits?
point,
Loads.
I suppose
You
at
could
that
do a
point
few,
that's
yeah.
very good because you can get what 6, 7 on the overkill.
5.
5 on the overkill
Plus
and 2
wounds.
for the
plus
wounds.
wounds.
7.
Yeah.
But that's just for combat res, so if they've got enough attacks, they could do 10 wounds to you.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, I suppose that's a
With
very
stomps and
interesting
things.
point.
So I don't know. That's one for the.
Yeah.
That's not explained.
You could
That's not
technically
for the
force
course.
them to
Yeah.
kill themselves.
Yes, top banner. I'm not even going to take the saves, but I'm just going to take unsaved wounds. Strength 3, no AP. Yeah, I'll take the wound.
Rune of spell breaking, extremely common.
This is very good.
Yeah.
Anvil of Doom, Runesmiths. This one you can see all the time. 25 points. Instead of making a dispel attempt, you automatically dispel a spell.
Classic.
It's a classic dispel scroll.
Old
from
school
yesteryear.
dispel scroll.
So good.
Your
And you will
little
take
runesmiths
lots.
can take 3 of them.
Yeah, you
and
take
do.
Then you've got 20 points for Rune of Warding. This is single use, but it is very common. Gives the bearer a 2-up ward save against a single wound. I like this more than initially viewed, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a 2-up ward save against a single wound.
Not the first.
Not the first.
Yeah.
So I'm there, I'm having a bad time. I'm there, I'm having a good time, I'm decking through, you're not getting anywhere near me, and then you throw the killing blow. And I'm like, you know what, that's pretty spicy.
That's probably when I use my 2+ ward. Yeah.
So I think this...
Yeah, the choice, unless they clarify that to be the first, which obviously they haven't this FAQ.
No.
But unless in the future they clarify to be the
I
first.
think they will.
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
I don't see why
you
they
never
would,
know.
but yeah.
For me, it's do you take, if you haven't taken Rune of Preservation, you take a
Take one of
Rune
those
Warding.
and you save
Yeah,
that
I
for that
think
6
they're
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rune of Luck next, single use, very common again, 15 for this one. The bearer of the Rune of Luck may use it to re-roll a single failed to hit or to wound, or a single roll of failed armour save. I just don't like it. 15 points, I'm just not that into it.
No. No, don't think so.
Rune of Furnace, this one's 5 points. This one is, like you were saying, a 3+ ward save against flaming attacks. It's nice for some people to have kept a decent ward save, everyone else lost it, but whatever. The Rune of Passage, this one gives the unit move through cover, and any unit they join. I like this.
I really like this, yep.
I've always liked it before, but
yeah, you
When you're
can
that slow,
find 5
you want it.
points
When you're
on
that slow,
a character or the unit champion.
Some
if you can take
champions have got
talismanic runes.
talismanic, yeah.
Yeah.
this is a
Really
great
like
one
it.
for your hammerers and a great one for your iron drakes.
See, that's a
and
good
stuff.
little combo on like the Iron Beard. Rune of Warding and the Rune of Passage. He mugs off that first wound on a 2+, and he gives his unit move through cover.
Not
Nice
bad.
little combo.
Yeah, that's 25 points as well. It's a good spot. So here we go then, on to banners, the standard runes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is just worth quickly saying, if a unit's joined by a battle standard bearer with a rune, then the unit is considered to also be carrying this standard, because a lot of the runes say a unit carrying this standard gets blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Start us off, John?
Yeah, the Master Rune and the Grungni. 80 points. Battle Standard Bearer only. A unit carrying this standard inscribed by the Master Rune and the Grungni has a 5+ ward save against wounds suffered. In addition, whilst within 6 of the model carrying the standard, friendly units have a 6+ ward save against any wounds suffered during the shooting phase.
This has been improved hugely, I'd argue.
Well, the Grungni used to be...
It used to be a 4+ ward save for the bearer,
Yeah.
and a 5+ ward save against shooting and magic missiles for anyone within 6.
Yeah.
So that bubble has come down a bit, but the fact it gives his entire unit a 5+ ward just makes me more inclined to make a Death Star for the Wolves.
Yeah.
100%. It's really strong.
Really strong. The Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard. When calculating 75 points, when calculating its combat result, any friendly unit within the command range of the model carrying the standard inscribed with the Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard may claim an additional +1 combat result. 75 points, you bang on a BSB, it's a 12-inch bubble of +1 combat result.
No, it's not. It's a 10-inch bubble on a BSB because it's his command range. A 9-inch bubble, it's his command range.
Yeah, when you're a BSB, your command range becomes 12. Yeah.
This is a hammerer's banner for me.
Okay.
9-inch command range. And I'll probably
Yeah,
get
I
some
was
stuff
going
in
to check
range of
that. What the wording on command range is.
I think it's the leadership of the model.
Yeah, it's whether that's like specific to characters have a command range.
Yeah, that would be a useful one for a fact, wouldn't it? It could go on there, but I have to say, I think overall at 75 points it's too expensive.
Way too expensive.
I think it
way
is.
too expensive.
The Master Rune of Hesitation.
Not too expensive.
45 points. Any enemy unit that charges the front arc of a unit carrying a standard inscribed with a Rune of Hesitation does not count as having charged for the purpose of choosing which weapon to use or using any special rules it may have. Note that the unit carrying this rune counts as having been charged by the enemy unit.
This is incredible on your Longbeards. It's even better on your Hammerers, who then get
it's on that
to go,
Death Star unit, mate.
Who then
It
gets
sits there. No lances. No
Impact hits.
Any special rules of any kind. First charge, that's gone.
Yeah.
Like stubborn,
Tusker charge.
that's gone. Tusker charge.
Choppers.
Big uns.
Big uns is just when you're in combat.
Oh, sorry, apologies. Yes. The Shagoff's got one.
Cavalry
He's
spears.
got one on the charge as well. Cavalry spears.
Anything really.
Yeah.
A lot of really good
Loads.
stuff.
So good.
Really strong. Problem is, people don't charge front of your unit.
No.
Just run away from it.
You only got a 3-inch charge. You only got a 3-inch charge, so you just stack around the sides and go in the flank.
Where's the movement? That's the problem.
Yeah.
But very good. As is the next one, Rune of Confusion.
35 points. Any enemy unit that charges the front arc carrying the standard inscribed with a Rune of Confusion makes a disordered charge.
So no initiative bonuses either.
So again, you can you star up and have the Rune of Confusion on the unit and then the Rune of Master, the Hesitation on the BSB?
You could have a BSB with both.
You could have hammers with both.
No, you can't. It's 75 points in that.
Oh, it's 80.
It's 80.
Oh.
But you could have a BSB with both. Is there still no limit on how many a BSB can take?
No.
In which case you could have a BSB...
Standard bearer cannot have more than 3 standard runes.
Yeah, but you could have a BSB with a Master Rune of... Oh no, because Hesitation's a Master. Yeah, but...
No Grugni for you.
You put Confusion and Grugni on the BSB, and you put Hesitation on the Hammers, and they're really, really
then that uses a
impossible
5-up save, no special rules for charging, and
take your initiative bonus, which means they averagely go before you, because initiative 4, most stuff's 3.
So good.
Outrageous, but again, people just ain't going to fight it. It's a shame, I did a video on it a little while ago and was really G'd for it, and I've watched so many games of Dwarves now, just at the club, and just seeing people play. It's a one and done, it's a hedgehog. You get caught by it once, you're never going to get caught by it again.
And particularly because the core rules of the game are open lists.
Yep.
So your opponent is going to know exactly where all your runes are.
Closed, like some events are, but
like your opponent's going to know where all your runes are, what they do.
Yeah.
They're just never going to charge it.
And that's the thing. The difference is that back in the day as well, These don't necessarily help with that, because back in the day you might look at someone and go, well, I can see his list, but I don't necessarily know what that magic item does because I've got a book. But if you, but you've got the book,
but you can ask though. You can ask.
You can ask.
You
Well,
can,
know what it
yeah.
is, you
But
can
also,
ask.
like, if you want to go into it before, you know what I mean. But anyway, Rune of Fear, 30 points. The unit causes fear.
Hot garbage. Leave it.
Yeah,
That's too
way
many
too many
points.
points.
Far too many points. That's a 5-pointer.
Yeah, like 10,
The only
10
positive
points
with
maybe
that-
I would.
The only positive is that if you have bigger unit strength than your opponent and you cause fear, they do have to take a leadership test to try and charge you.
Yes.
So that's the only positive.
Yeah,
But you've got to take a big unit.
Yeah, well, you're going to your dwarf.
yeah.
You say big, like maybe 24-ish?
For a start, I'd take bigger unit than that. I'd take 30 at least.
At least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rune of packet my characters. I don't want to get any points off me.
Rune
Then
of
I'm
Battle.
gonna take the air fleet and fly around you and nick points.
Yeah, fleet. Rune of Battle is 25 points. When calculating its combat result, a unit carrying this standard of Rune of Battle may claim an additional +1.
Yeah,
So it's the Stromney Redbeard, but a quarter the price.
Third
the price.
So
But it doesn't,
unit,
for
but
one
it doesn't
unit.
bubble.
Yeah.
yeah, I just think, well, I don't know why.
It's alright.
Yeah,
It's
solid.
25 points is fine for that.
Yeah.
Stroller's Room, the classic. The unit carrying it gets a Vanguard.
Way too many
Complete
points
trash.
considering you Vanguard 3.
For what it is now, yes, it's not worth it anymore. It used to be sick.
Yeah.
If it was like it was an 8th and 8-inch
Yeah.
Vanguard, you're
12-inch
like,
Vanguard.
yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah.
But. And finally, the last standard rune, I believe,
Yep.
Yeah, it's
is the Rune of Courage. 15 points. A unit carrying the standard inscribed with the Rune of Courage automatically passes any fear or terror tests.
I quite like that.
It's
not bad.
It's one for your not main unit. It's one for your not big scary stuff. I think because a lot of that's immune psych or has got like good rules for fear and
Yeah.
terror. But I think when you haven't got like I think like your warriors that type of unit.
I
your
think it's
miners
alright on
as
long
well.
lids, to be honest.
They're veteran though, so they re-roll it.
They do.
I'd bother.
They do.
So I don't think I'd bother when they're leadership 9 veteran.
No, fair.
But I think it's alright. It's just you can combine it with other stuff. It's just when you
Yeah.
hit your 50 points, isn't it?
That's your cheapest banner rune. So if you do want a couple of runes of battle, that's how you get the second one. Sort
Yeah,
of thing,
or
isn't
you
it,
rune
really?
it 2 runes of confusion. That's where you're going
Yeah.
to knock the leadership, the initiative bonus off your opponents.
Yeah.
That's where you're going. But
Yep.
less good when they're not hammerers because they're not initiative 4. Everything else is lower initiative.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm taking initiative bonus away for what?
Slayers, are they 3? Basic Slayers? Might be
Yeah,
3.
maybe.
Not terrible on them.
No, so they're going initiative.
Giant Slayers at 3. Troll Slayers at 2.
Yeah, that's what
So,
I mean.
yeah, maybe not worth it.
It's not the best.
Maybe not.
So on to engineering runes, or as I like to call it, the section where you'll save most of your points, because you're probably not going to buy these. I'm really underwhelmed. It's the one area that I was most disappointed with.
Mm.
I think
The
it
rest
just
of it, I think there's some
compounds.
good stuff. I've not really studied the combinations as well as I'd like. You probably gathered some of that from what I've been saying today, where I'm sort of just picking and sort of putting stuff together as we're discussing. But
I think
but-
it just compounds the problems of artillery already.
yeah, they really could have been the one army that had fantastic artillery
Yeah.
through this, and it
Yeah.
doesn't
And I
really
think
happen.
probably should have been, in
So-
my opinion. That's their whole shtick, really.
Master of Immolation, 30 points, it's the most expensive one. Can only have one of these in your army. It's a cannon only, so one cannon can have this. When it loses its last wound due to an enemy attack during the combat phase, it may be exploded by its crew. Every enemy unit in base contact takes D6 strength 5 hits with -2 AP. The cannon is removed from play.
30 points for a Martyrdom.
Good
It's,
amount of hits, solid strength, good AP, but you're relying on losing your cannon to use it.
And
Yeah.
you roll a 1.
Yeah.
You've rolled a 1.
And actually,
you're killing a
you've
bloke.
given away an additional 30
30
points for
yeah.
doing it. So I've now got to make sure it kills 30 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
No.
Master in a Disguise, a war machine with this is considered to be behind full cover.
You're tough enough, even your toughness 6 war machines.
Again, does full cover affect does it affect like non-ballistic skill shooting?
No, it's just -2 to hit.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
So it wouldn't affect like other war machines hitting you.
no,
Or
that's the sort of
magic
stuff that's
missiles
actually
hitting
going to
you.
kill me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like It's very rare I'm going to lose a cannon to bowfire.
By far, or even
Do you know what I
handguns,
mean?
Really.
So yeah.
6s to wound.
Rune of Skewering, 20 points for a bolt thrower only.
This is not bad on a bolt thrower, to be fair.
+1 modifier to its strength, makes its strength 7. In addition, no armor save is permitted against wounds caused by bolt thrower inscribed with a Rune of Skewering. You
I
can only
really
have
like
one. You can combine it up.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one of
Yeah.
the lot.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
I think you're looking at you're probably taking a couple of bolt throwers. You're definitely taking.
If you take
2
bolt
runes
throwers,
of skewering,
that's
and then
probably.
you're chucking
and
on
then
like
a stalwart rune for
stalwart
5
rune and one of the
Yeah.
reload on the
You don't
other
need the other one. You can just take a single rune
one.
of
Of course you
skewering on
can,
one.
yeah. So you definitely do that. I think that's well worth it in my opinion.
Rune of Forging is very common. It's a single use. It lets you reroll a single misfire, 15 points.
Good on an organ gun.
You can't put it on.
Can't put it on an organ gun.
Can only go on a cannon.
Can only go on a cannon
or a grudge
or a
thrower.
grudge
Because
thrower.
it
Oh.
doesn't have a use on it. Bolt thrower.
I
That one
just
actually does.
Why can't it go on?
Because
because
organ guns can't be
can't
ruined.
be ruined anymore.
Organ guns can't
The
take any
rules for
runes.
organ
Oh, of course
guns.
they can't be ruined. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, what's weird is Rune of
Yeah.
Burning, 10 points, War Machine has flaming attacks. It's
Yeah.
just so much less useful than it was before
Yeah.
because
Right, against Tomb Kings.
most of the monsters with regen are not flammable.
Yes.
So,
It's just like Tomb Kings, Trolls. That's about it.
but I'm probably not going to kill the trolls because they're probably 4 wound trolls.
Yep.
Or I've got to roll 3 for my D3 wounds.
Yeah.
Rune of Reloading. War Machine inscribed with Rune of Reloading can shoot every turn, even if it misfired and malfunctioned during its previous turn.
Gets you a second rune of skewering.
Solid. I like it. I don't
Yeah,
mind
that's-
reloading.
It's probably the one you'd take to get you a second rune of skewering.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
reloading. Well, it
Yeah.
has no effect on the bolt thrower because the
Oh,
bolt thrower
yeah,
can't
effects, it can't
misfire. You
misfire.
totally
Yeah,
stole
maybe
it, I
I
think.
it's still
I mean, which also probably won't have any effect, but you know.
And then the stalwart rune's
It might.
5 points for +1 combat res.
I feel like they're literally there to
take more
take
to
more
take
of
more
those.
as Marina Skewering.
But I mean,
if you
it's
want
just
to.
so underwhelming compared to what
Yeah.
they've been in the past.
So
Skewering is
you could
literally
take
the
3
only one.
bolt throwers, one with skewering, one with skewering and reloading,
Yeah.
one with skewering and
Stalwart rune.
which
Yes.
I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to
That's
take
probably
bolt
what you
throwers, I
do.
think that's probably what you do. You just
Yeah.
take 3,
They're all
strength
like strength
7,
7,
no
no
armor
save.
saves, D3 wounds. Like,
2 wounds. They're flat 2
are they
bolt
still
throwers.
Flat 2.
Alright, I mean,
Bolt
that's
throwers
still
are flat
good.
2.
You look at that and go, that
alright.
means it's good. Well, if that's,
And then you troll hammers.
that's
Yeah.
wounding most monsters in the game on a 3.
Yeah.
You look at it and go like a Necrosphinx, for example.
Mm.
Yeah, still 3.
That's 3s to wound. He's only got 6 wounds.
Yeah.
It's sort of like with a troll hammer. You can probably look at it and go, "I'm going to kill him in
Yeah.
one turn."
Maybe treat myself to one with stalwart, one with burning, perhaps,
Yeah.
just in case I
Just
do
in
fight a regen monster.
That happens to have
That
flammable.
happens to be flammable like a sphinx.
Sphinxes aren't flammable,
Nah,
are they?
no.
Are they dry as dust?
No,
No, so it's
they're
Is
what's
the bone
it?
dragon?
the bone
The
dragon.
bone dragon is dry
as
as dust.
Yeah. So that would help.
Yeah. The argument is as well is that
When I
if you
reroll,
do
I'll win.
2 wounds to it, well, not anymore,
Not
mate.
anymore.
They've FAQ'd that now. You have to
Yeah.
you have to use
Yeah,
the
the
armor
FAQs
value to
created
get the
some
armor
more,
values.
it's
created
created some more
other
ambiguity
questions.
because it said something like you have to
You have to
choose
use
to
the
use the armor.
Yeah.
If you want to use it, you have to choose to use it. But then the main rulebook says you have to use the
better.
highest. So and then
Well,
the
specifically
argument.
better, not higher.
Yeah, and that's the point. Then people's argument now is
Well,
I
rerolling
think
to wound is better.
rerolling
for
to
me,
wound is
yeah.
better than having a 4+.
This isn't a deep dive about
So-
the FAQ.
It's all fun and games, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, so you're gonna have those arguments, but I imagine I'm still rerolling it. So
I think it, like a couple of obvious for me misses from engineering runes. A +1 to hit for bolt throwers, that would have been
a
nice.
+1 to hit.
Extra
A +1 ballistic skill.
There
Extra
used to
armor
be
piercing.
a
You know,
+1
that
to
sort of
hit against flying things.
That would have been nice.
That was
yeah.
cool.
I can't remember what it's
Flaxland's
called,
Rune of Seeking. It's
Yes,
called.
that's what it's called.
There used to be a standard +1 to hit rune,
Yeah.
which is very strong.
Yeah.
Something that improved like,
Extra armor
the
piercing.
strength of the grudge thrower on the blast, even if it was just on the blast, that'd be nice.
Rune of penetration,
Yeah,
that's
what
what
it
it was
used to be.
before.
Mhm.
Not massive one for me is Rune of Accuracy's gone, which used to be
+1
+1 to
to
hit,
Yeah.
or reroll your scatter dice.
Yeah.
Reroll your scatter dice would have really made the grudge throwers feel like, alright, at least I'm going to get like a lot more chance
Should,
of getting hits.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what
don't
runes
really
we're going to
know why.
see in a.
They could have done some really spicy stuff. They could have gone,
Yeah.
we'll have
we don't know what runes we're going to see in the Arcane Journal though.
No, we
That's
don't.
true.
I
You've got to
think
bear in
you've
mind.
got like new mechanics in here that you could have done
Mm.
cool stuff with though. Like I don't know, someone's rune of unavoidable doom or something. Right, so any model touched by the template is hit. They don't risk being hit. They're automatically
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
something like that.
Yeah.
Then you're looking and going, oh, that suddenly means that
makes
these grudge
them a
throws
lot
are a bit
better.
more worth
Yeah.
like doing, a bit
Mm.
more worth using because like when they hit they really land. But then they're only strength 3. They've got no AP. So.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to get more hits, but am I going to really cleave through stuff that matters? No, do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
think that would
yeah,
have been
yeah,
really, like, for me, there's like obvious options that are new mechanics for the game that you could
Yeah.
have gone, let's have some new
That would
stuff.
have been quite cool.
But it all feels a bit kind of, we need to get to 7, You know, we need to get 8. Is it 8 or 7? Whatever it is.
7.
7. We need to get to 7 at least, because otherwise it will look a bit flat.
Yeah, that is
You
by
know?
far the smallest section of runes as well.
I think it always was.
I think you just have to
8,
see.
not by far, but
Because
it's
the Arcane
smallest.
Journal could be looking at it and going, you know, they're statistically the lowest scoring.
It's always too late for that.
Oh, to be fair, Armour's only got
but
7.
they might have. Like,
The journal had been printed months and months ago.
Yeah.
But the journal could have some good runes in it.
No, I mean, I'm sure it'll have
but
good options and useful stuff in it.
To be
no
fair,
doubt.
Armour's only got 7 runes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but then it just feels like there's not a lot of creativity in that one.
No, which is a bit of a shame. Final thoughts on the dwarves then? Because I believe that's it for the dwarves.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yes,
I think they've
that's
got
a
some
picture.
potentially good combinations. I think there's definitely some stuff. I think we're still in. At the end of the day, you do have to look and go. This game is still in its teething process, stage. You know, there is like at the minute the game is very much a toughness 6 meta. Toughness 6 monster slayer.
Yeah.
That is what it is. You know, there's nothing to suggest that's not going to change or move.
No.
Stars will be the thing that change it. I think.
You know, there's gonna be meta changes. There's
Stars
gonna
will
be
be the
new
next meta.
things that people are gonna think up with and come up with and move through. Again, the rules don't help because there's lots of like FAQ questions, and then they do an FAQ, and really the FAQs aren't often enough when the game
They're
is
leaving
new.
a lot of questions as well with those.
Like it needs to not be let's email going to a shop with a question. It needs to be they go through the book and they clarify everything.
But I think the thing
that's
you
where
need
it needs
to
to be,
realise
like,
is that unless you're got a really one of the big challenges with proofreading is you need someone who's not you who understands the system enough to proofread it. So you can say
Who
well,
hasn't
what's
been involved with.
that's it because
that's what playtests are for.
yeah it is. But if they're all just saying well we're all playing it like this, you've got to have that really hard kind of keen eye to be able to say well look actually what does it explicitly say, not how we're all doing
how,
it.
yeah.
And that's the problem with that, and I think it's hard for them to do that. I think it does need to be. I think that the scope of this first FAQ was small. I believe that there were more questions that were obviously out there and very readily available for people to see that were not addressed, and that is odd to me because there's a lot of questions that seem to still be there, and that were not questions that had popped up 2 days before. They're questions that have been around since the book came out.
Yeah.
And your final thoughts on dwarves?
So, well, it's because
Not the FAQ.
I think there's some really good.
John pulled me off the FAQ.
I digress, but I think there's some. We're still in the teething period of the game. There's going to be stuff that people find, and even though they're statistically scoring the lowest right now, I think there's going to be things that people find and do that make them better and start to score higher. And slowly but surely, you'll see those meta armies come to the forefront. And I think that'll be interesting to see. I certainly think we've gone through the book. There's definitely stuff that people haven't been doing, not that I've seen anyway. That would be good. So I think it's just going to be interesting to see going forward. Really, that's all you can say with that.
Internal balance is good.
Yeah.
Internally, there's lots of viable options. The stuff that doesn't feel viable is generally more core rules than their book rules, things like the cannons.
Yeah.
And I think they could do some stuff to fix that a little bit and make the the grudge throws and things like that feel a bit more spicy, like we were just saying.
Okay,
I
that
think-
will help.
I think that's
do think that should
I think that's really positive. I think it would be interesting to see what the Arcane Journal does for them, but it's this might be famous words that come back in 2 years' time for nothing. But I just can't see, particularly with this set of rules, them ever being a top tier army. I just can't see what you could change to really make it happen, unless you made their artillery really thumping and you could take tons of it suddenly, or
I mean, to be fair, you can take a hell of a lot of it.
you can be, it just doesn't thump enough
No,
to
that's-
justify
yeah,
its
Well,
point.
the
you
argument is
wouldn't
that
have to
over
change that,
time it
just-
does. You take 3 cannons. If you shoot 3 cannons at a Chaos Lord, even if you do half his wounds, you do that the second turn, he's dead.
But you're not going to do half his wounds
no,
unless they
that's the
really
issue.
spice them up, mate.
Yeah.
Well, they're still D3 wounds.
Yeah, they're -2 to your armour, mate.
Yeah, so he's got
And then
4
you get your
upside,
ward,
yeah.
and then you get your
the
range.
-2 on a cannon.
That's
isn't
it.
Yeah, -3
Unless
if
you roll a
roll
6.
Oh, that's brutal.
So this is the problem there.
Yes, it's
And
far
they've
too
always
low,
been a draw
yeah.
specialist army, but I
Yeah.
think in this set of rules more than ever more than 8th, a lot more than 8th, the inability to have a really big swingy fluky charge, the lack of manoeuvrability for the army beyond marching column and
falling down a
drilling them.
Yeah.
They really struggle to go out and get points.
Yeah.
And one of the things they had for that was their shooting, and overall their shooting is not as punchy as it was. So I think they will always be hard to beat. I think that they will probably fit quite nicely in to the meta quite soon. I think people will start to star them because it's the obvious thing to do, and they'll start to compete. They won't give away points, and they'll always be in it. But I don't see enough I don't see enough that could make them a top tier army.
Yeah.
I have to say that, and I think that's a core rules issue, not a dwarf issue. I think internally they look lovely balanced. There's loads of choice. There's lots of stuff I want to take. It makes me want to paint figures. It's good. It's good. The list is cool. I need more from the core rules to help me, if that makes sense. What about you?
I had a lot of fun actually using them a couple of weeks ago on the channel, which would have been out probably a couple of weeks now, maybe a week. Depends which order these come out. Against the High Elves, I had a lot of fun using them. I think that's a really solid way to play them. Lots of shooting with one counter punch, sort of starry type unit. It possibly wasn't big enough for you to class it as a star. I think it was 22 plus 3 characters.
It was definitely a star. I just
wasn't as big as you'd have wanted it.
I'd have probably gone bigger, yeah. I just think there was a lot of victory points in that game that if I'd have just turned around and flown away, like turn 3,
of course,
I'd have won 12-8.
Yeah.
But again, we don't want to do that.
No,
we're talking about like
report.
if I'm thinking outside of a battle report head and I'm thinking, well, I want to go to an event and win games, I'd probably want my unit to be more. I probably want more in it.
Yeah,
it's risk reward, but I don't think there's much that's going to come and get it off me.
No, that is true. I have I've not seen, but I've heard good things about using sort of 18 units of 18 warriors, 15 to 18 warriors, and sort of checkerboarding them. So you charge one, you don't overrun far enough, you kill it. You don't overrun far enough if you do kill it, or they fall back and whatever, and then you get countercharged by 2 in the flank. And using them in that sort of checkerboardy formation, which I think could work. I think you could probably swap that front row for like Thunderers or Quarrelers. That probably work just as well. I don't have the shield wall, so potentially not. Potentially that's what you want the Warriors for, but I haven't used it. I think so. I don't know how well
I see
that
the
works.
idea, but I just don't see the dwarves that countercharge killing enough. I guess they've got to be great weapon dwarves.
Yeah, all great weapons.
But it'd be interesting to see if they could really kill enough, because you're going to have like what, 6 stacks?
Yeah.
From the front.
Can Warriors have drilled?
No, yeah, they can, but it's like
one per 1,000. Yeah, so you have a couple with drilled in your sort of second.
But you've got to have the space if you're checkerboarding to be able to spread to get the drilled and not put yourself too much in the front arm.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I say, I can see checkerboarding is very classic. I used to do that a lot with Vampire Counts. It makes loads of sense, and it's something that's definitely workable. And dwarves are an army that could do that.
Yeah, and I do think it works well against cavalry, particularly because cavalry might have enough to, take out the front rank and a half of that unit they charge. Probably going to take out all 18. That would be a very big cavalry unit or very good rolling. But they're not going to have enough to then take the counter charges from even one, probably, dwarf unit in the flank with great weapons. That's probably going to be enough to, cut through them. But when it comes to ridden monsters, particularly dragons, I still don't think strength 5 dwarves are enough.
No,
I 6. Even if you go, there's 11. I'm drilled and I'm 11 wide. You're not going to kill a dragon. As we saw in that game, spoilers, they didn't do anyway.
Static combat res.
Yeah.
Which is where the star comes back. That's the best way.
It's just like the fires to wind. You're not going to get enough hits through, followed by enough wounds.
Enough wounds,
followed by
and
enough
then
saves failed of the armour and the wall and the regen. Like, again, the triple save, it doesn't help.
I do agree with you though. Their core army rules, or their army rules, not the core rules, I really like.
Yeah.
I think the engineering runes, like we were saying, are really a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, you can let that.
The skewering is nice. I do think that makes bulk fires
I
pretty cool.
think that's good.
But
And they were already probably the most viable
Certainly in the
outside
T6, with the T6, I think they're 1+. Like that guarantee of the 2 wounds of strength, freeze to wound, I think is so good.
Yeah, I do think they're good, and I like that engineers are a choice now, not just a waste.
I'd argue if you're going to take artillery, they're not a choice. I think they're an include.
I do like that. But yeah, there are obvious shortfalls.
In the book.
And on that bombshell.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do like them, but hopefully the journal can do some good things for them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like. Well, we've made our way out of Moria. No one was eaten by a Balrog. Other fantasy franchises are available, but probably aren't as good. And as a result,
Gandalf stole all that XP.
No one got the XP, so we're all low level and still very poor. Thanks for joining us once again for this deep dive. Head back to the Night of Runic Ground where you can check out all of our other exclusive content, and we'll see you again real soon to do it all over again. Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?